Chapter 42:12. The enmity between Gu Fei and the demons could be traced back to when he first started his career. Back then, the demonic Lord of Six Paths attacked Taishian Mountain. The scene of demonic aura blotting out the sky, as if doomsday had arrived, was still fresh in his memory. The demonic Lord of Six Paths was probably already dead. Since then, he and the demons became mortal enemies. In particular, the demons among the demons did not hesitate to collect the souls of humans in order to cultivate their demonic arts. They did many things that angered the heavens and the people. The demons often massacred cities and destroyed countries, causing blood to flow like rivers. It was precisely because of this that the demons became the enemies of the world. At this moment, Gu Fei was standing on a mountain peak outside Sky Demon Valley. He looked toward the valley and saw that the demonic aura in front of him was surging violently. He could vaguely see a demonic figure within the demonic aura. Whoosh! At this moment, a golden divine light rushed over from the distance. Within the golden light was a divine bird, and on the back of the divine bird stood a purple-robed woman. It was the golden divine bird, and the purple-robed woman on the back of the golden divine bird was none other than Princess Qingyao. Since Gu Fei wanted to destroy Sky Demon Valley, she naturally would not miss the opportunity. It should be noted that this would definitely be an earth-shattering battle. Sky Demon Valley was not a place to be trifled with. It was backed by a lineage of the demons of the far north demon region. Moreover, the Valley Master of Sky Demon Valley was a holy venerate-level demon. In the current world, unless a quasi-supreme showed up, a holy venerate would be invincible. Of course, quasi-supreme would not usually make a move, but under special circumstances, they would still make a move. Once a quasi-supreme made a move, it would definitely be earth-shattering. Just as Gu Fei arrived at the outskirts of Sky Demon Valley, the Iron Blood Taoist in Wenxiang City finally managed to gather 50,000 soldiers after a Herculean effort. Let's go! With the Iron Blood Taoist's order, the 50,000 soldiers rose into the sky and floated into the distance like a black cloud. In the blink of an eye, they disappeared into the horizon. The terrifying murderous aura also dissipated into the void. Everyone in Wenxiang City was indescribably shocked. Who was the city lord going to find trouble with? That was 50,000 soldiers. Wenxiang City only had 30,000 soldiers, while the other 20,000 were transferred from other cities. This time, the myriad phenomenon city turned out in full strength. They were determined to exterminate the Heavenly Devil Valley. Demon bastards, come out and die! Gu Fei roared towards the Heavenly Devil Valley. Rumble! The entire world was shaking, and a large portion of the demonic clouds in front of them were dispersed. Who are you? Right at this moment, a furious roar resounded from within the gorge, and then a mighty old man with white hair and white brows approached them. If they did not know that these people were demons, even the Lord would not be able to see through them. The person who will kill you! Gu Fei did not waste any time and directly punched out as he spoke. Roar! The old man roared and spat out a bolt of lightning towards Gu Fei. Boom! Gu Fei's fist collided with the other party's lightning, and a terrifying destructive storm erupted in all directions. The demonic aura that enveloped the Heavenly Devil Valley was dispersed, and the old man was sent flying. What? Seeing this scene, everyone was stunned. The old man was one of the top 3 experts in the Heavenly Devil Valley, and yet he was defeated by Gu Fei with a single punch. How was this possible? Swoosh! Gu Fei chased after the old man like a shadow and gave him another kick. With a dull sound, the old man screamed in pain. Like a meteorite, he fell from the sky and smashed into the mountain ridge. A cloud of dust rushed out from where the old man was. Can't even withstand a single blow! As Gu Fei spoke, he took a step forward and arrived in the sky above the Heavenly Devil Valley. Break! Gu Fei let out a furious roar as he punched down with both fists. Boom! With a loud bang, the entire Sky Devil Valley shook. Terrifying and monstrous energy ripples spread in all directions, and countless cracks appeared in the void. This was actually Gu Fei's doppelganger attacking. His original body had long entered the inner world. A huge light shield enveloped the entire valley. This was the guardian formation of the Heavenly Devil Valley being activated and operating. Again! Gu Fei's doppelganger was extremely powerful, and he punched again. The powerful force shook the guardian formation of the Heavenly Devil Valley. At this time, countless soldiers began to set up the formation, and violent and powerful forces quickly gathered. Buzz! The void shook, and the endless power of space was vast and mighty. Attack! The general of the Heavenly Devil Valley roared and pointed at Gu Fei. Boom! 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 Rays of demonic light rushed out from the valley, piercing towards Gu Fei at an extremely fast speed. However, Gu Fei just opened his mouth and inhaled, and the endless demonic light was swallowed by him. This guy! The experts of the demons in the Heavenly Devil Valley were really scared when they saw this scene. The leading general of the Heavenly Devil Valley was called Blood Wolf Demon Lord, who was also the Valley Master of the Heavenly Devil Valley. He was a Holy Venerate level Demon Lord. Who is that? Is he Gu Fei? Blood Wolf Demon Lord stared at the figure in the sky and said coldly. Seeing Gu Fei's momentum, the experts of the demons in the Heavenly Devil Valley were extremely shocked. Humph! So what if Gu Fei comes personally? At this time, a tall middle-aged man wearing a dark golden demonic armor stood up. He had a stern aura, and there was a hideous scar on his face that extended from his forehead to his chin. His eyes were fierce and vicious. Hee, Heavenly Bear Demon Lord is right. The disciples of the demons beside the middle-aged man quickly said with a fawning look on their faces. Blood Wolf Demon Lord's blood-devouring demonic art had been cultivated to the pinnacle. As long as there was a drop of blood, he would not die. It was said that he had an immortal body. Heavenly Bear Demon Lord's cultivation was second only to Blood Wolf Demon Lord, and he was the second most powerful person in the Heavenly Devil Valley. At this time, a dazzling divine light suddenly rushed out from Gu Fei's clone. In the next moment, he broke through the protective formation of the Heavenly Devil Valley and rushed in. Boom! Gu Fei's doppelganger descended from the sky, crushing the ground and creating a huge crater with every step. He walked out of the pit step by step. Haha, I thought it was some big shot. So it's just a little kid. Little guy, are you here to die? Blood Wolf Demon Lord had never seen Gu Fei before, and he immediately laughed out loud with a disdainful look. Humph! Gu Fei didn't say a word. With a push of his feet he dashed towards the Blood Dragon Demon Venerate, leaving a trail of dust behind him. The surrounding spectators were shocked to the extreme when they saw this. This guy. Even Blood Wolf Demon Lord's expression changed at this time. He was extremely solemn. In the next moment, he crazily circulated the blood-devouring demonic art, and a faint layer of blood light appeared on his body. He took a deep breath, and his entire body grew bigger. Every muscle on his body was vibrating, releasing a strong blood-devouring demonic force. At this time, Gu Fei's clone had already rushed in front of Blood Wolf Demon Lord. Roar! Blood Dragon Demon Lord roared and attacked with all his might. He gathered all the strength in his body and threw a punch. Bam! With a muffled sound, Gu Fei's clone collided with Blood Wolf Demon Lord's fist. In the next moment, Blood Wolf Demon Lord's entire arm exploded, and he was sent flying thousands of feet away, rolling on the ground. How is this possible? Blood Wolf Demon Lord supported his upper body and stared in disbelief at the black-robed young man who was walking towards him step by step. At this time, the soldiers under Blood Wolf Demon Lord were all dumbfounded by this scene. The Blood Wolf Demonic Venerate was a great perfection Holy Venerate. He was exceptionally strong. However, Gu Fei's clone shattered the Blood Wolf Demonic Venerate's right arm with one punch, severely injuring this Demonic Venerate. At this time, Gu Fei's clone arrived in front of Blood Wolf Demon Lord and looked down at him indifferently. You! Blood Wolf Demon Lord was terrified to the extreme as though he had seen a ghost. At this time, Heavenly Bear Demon Lord wanted to take action, but Gu Fei's technique was simply too shocking. This made Heavenly Bear Demon Lord hesitate. Heavenly Demon Valley? It's just SOSO. Gu Fei's clone shook his head. Don't get too full of yourself. My big brother will definitely avenge me. Blood Wolf Demon Lord glared at Gu Fei's clone and gritted his teeth. You mean the one in the extreme north demon region? Once this is over, I'll make a trip to the extreme north demon region, Gu Fei's clone said indifferently. What? Blood Wolf Demon Lord was shocked. In his agitation, he spat out a mouthful of blood. Gu Fei's clone did not waste any more words with Blood Wolf Demon Lord. He stomped on Blood Wolf Demon Lord's head, causing it to explode. In the end, Gu Fei set Blood Wolf Demon Lord's corpse on fire and burned it to ashes. It was only then that Heavenly Bear Demon Lord and the soldiers of Heavenly Demon Valley regained their senses. Set up the battle formation and kill this guy. Although Blood Wolf Demon Lord was dead, he still wanted to fight. After all, whether he fought or not, Gu Fei would not let them off. The soldiers of Heavenly Demon Valley did not retreat in fear. Kill! Without hesitation, Gu Fei's clone stomped on the ground. Like an ancient war elephant, he charged towards the battle formation formed by the soldiers of Heavenly Demon Valley. Release the arrows! A demon general ordered immediately. In the next moment, a series of air-piercing sounds were heard. Black demon arrows streaked across the sky, shooting towards Gu Fei's clone. Humph! Gu Fei's doppelganger sneered and waved his hands. The countless arrows that were shot at him were immediately knocked away by him. They couldn't even touch the corner of his clothes. Some of the arrows were bounced back, injuring and killing more than a dozen demon soldiers. Spears, shields! Seeing that they could not stop Gu Fei's clone, another demon general roared and changed the formation. In the next moment, dozens of pitch-black shields were erected by the soldiers of Heavenly Demon Valley, forming a shield formation in front of them. When Gu Fei's clone arrived, dozens of battle spears suddenly pierced towards Gu Fei's clone through the gaps left by the shields. However, Gu Fei's clone completely ignored the sharpness of the battle spears and rammed head-on into them. Boom! With a loud bang, dozens of shields were smashed into pieces. The soldiers of Heavenly Demon Valley who were holding the shields were sent flying, screaming in pain. The sharp battle spears did not even leave a mark on Gu Fei's clone. Chapter 42:13. Using doppelgangers to fight was the safest method. Gu Fei's main body only needed to watch from the inner world through the mystic light technique. At that moment, Gu Fei was lying on a chair in a valley in the inner world, enjoying the legendary peach of immortality as he looked at the mystic light mirror opposite him. In the mystic light mirror, his doppelganger charged straight into Sky Devil Valley. The 100,000 demon soldiers could not stop the black-robed youth. The black-robed youth rampaged through the battle formation formed by the 100,000 demon soldiers. Everywhere he passed, countless demon soldiers were turned into bloody mist, their bodies and souls destroyed. The power of Gu Fei's avatar spread out. Other than the demon soldiers that were turned into bloody mist, there were also countless demon soldiers that were sent flying. Those demon soldiers that were sent flying were already dead in the air. What Sky Devil Valley? It's just SOSO. Gu Fei's doppelganger said disdainfully. He pulled his hands in front of him, and a crescent-shaped blade of light immediately appeared in front of him. At that moment, countless demon soldiers rushed towards him. Go! Gu Fei flicked his finger, and the crescent-shaped blade of light in front of him immediately spun forward. Everywhere it passed, demon soldiers were cut in half at the waist, their blood splattering everywhere. This attack from Gu Fei's doppelganger killed thousands of demon soldiers. Roar! When Demon Lord Tianxiong saw this, his eyes turned red. His body trembled, and the demon armor on his body immediately shattered. His entire body swelled up, and thick fur grew rapidly from his body. In the blink of an eye, a huge demon bear the size of a small mountain appeared in front of Gu Fei's doppelganger. The demon bear's body erupted with a terrifying fiendish aura, and it directly slapped towards Gu Fei's doppelganger. The demon bear's huge hand descended from the sky, and violent demon Dao power descended from its palm. Sand and stones flew everywhere, and the sun and moon lost their light. Gu Fei's doppelganger leaped to the side. Boom! With a loud bang, the demonic bear's palm fell, directly smashing a huge rock that weighed hundreds of thousands of kilograms under his feet. The entire ground shook violently like waves. Countless demon soldiers in the surroundings were shaken to the ground. Roar! Demon Bear was extremely ferocious. When its palm couldn't hit Gu Fei's doppelganger, it immediately stomped on Gu Fei's doppelganger. Gu Fei's doppelganger moved quickly, casually shooting out beams of divine light. Those divine lights were like peerless divine swords, piercing through the demonic weapons, causing demonic blood to splatter everywhere. A large number of demon soldiers fell to the ground and died. Damn it! Heavenly Bear Demon Lord was about to go crazy. These were the demon soldiers that he had painstakingly trained. They were the elites of the elites. Each of them had the cultivation of a demon god. They were a demon army that he had brought out from the far north demon region. Even in the far north demon region, where there was a forest of demons, this demon army was enough to wipe out an entire region. However, such a powerful demon army was actually unable to withstand a single blow from Gu Fei. This was truly unbelievable to Heavenly Bear Demon Lord. Could it be that this Gu Fei was actually a quasi-supreme? Gu Fei's strength shocked and angered Heavenly Bear Demon Lord. Rumble! An extremely shocking sound came from within the Heavenly Bear Demon army. It was like the rumbling of the 9 heavens' thunder. The next moment, the black fur of this heavenly bear actually turned golden. Is it popular to play with transformations these days? In his inner world, Gu Fei couldn't help but be interested when he saw this scene. However, his own cultivation was too weak. Against such a demon lord, he still didn't know who his opponent was. Of course, he had the eternal real bone. Even a demon lord wouldn't be able to kill him. However, if the other party couldn't kill him and sealed him, it would be difficult for him to escape. Right now, Gu Fei was very worried about this point. At this time, in Heaven Demon Valley, the sounds of killing shook the heavens. There were corpses of demon soldiers everywhere. The demon blood on the ground gathered into small streams and broken weapons were scattered all over the ground. When the Qin clan's princess, Qin Yao, arrived and saw this scene, she was shocked. This Gu Fei was truly a peerless monster. He actually killed his way into Heaven Demon Valley alone and fought against 100,000 demon soldiers. This was too amazing. When Qin Yao was born, Gu Fei was already about to leave the human world. She had only heard about Gu Fei from others. She had never seen Gu Fei in action before. However, she actually met Gu Ling and the others outside the entrance of the human race's ancient road. Gu Fei's daughter and disciple were indeed extraordinary. Today, when she saw Gu Fei, she realized that he was indeed as powerful and invincible as the rumors said. Qin Yao didn't go down. She only watched from the sky. Within Heaven Demon Valley, the demonic Qi was vast and boundless. Countless demon soldiers were charging towards Gu Fei with no regard for their own safety. However, in front of Gu Fei, these powerful demon soldiers were as weak as ants. What shocked Qin Yao the most was that this Gu Fei seemed to be able to see through the weaknesses of the demon soldiers with a single glance. With a casual strike, he was able to break through the demon soldiers' battle formation. This allowed him to kill a large number of demon soldiers. Could it be that this fella has done some research on the Tao of formations? Qin Yao muttered to herself. One must know that if one wasn't proficient in battle formations and battle techniques, Gu Fei wouldn't be able to see through the weaknesses of a battle formation with a single glance. At this time, Gu Fei had already started fighting against the Golden Demon Lord Tian Xiong. Qin Yao didn't know that this Gu Fei wasn't Gu Fei's true body. Gu Fei clenched his right fist and punched out at the Demon Lord Tian Xiong. There were no berserk ripples, nor was there any blinding godly light. It looked like a punch that an ordinary person would throw out. However, it still managed to send the transformed Heavenly Bear Demon Lord flying. After transforming, the body of the transformed Demon Lord Tian Xiong was extremely strong. It was already infinitely close to the body of a quasi-utmost being. Even so, he was still no match for Gu Fei. Be it in terms of strength, mystic skills, or constitution, this clone of Gu Fei was able to suppress the Demon Lord Tian Xiong completely. All right, stop playing around. Send him on his way. Gu Fei gave the order to his clone. There was some sort of connection between him and his clone. Even though he was in the inner world, he could still control his clone. Right now, Gu Fei was in an awkward situation. His main body was weaker than his clone. If his clone had a consciousness of its own, his main body would be in danger. It wasn't as though there had never been cases of a clone devouring the main body in the world of cultivation. If his clone were to devour his main body, Gu Fei wouldn't be Gu Fei anymore. Gu Fei wouldn't allow something like that to happen. He had already prepared a backup plan. Even if his main body was weaker than his clone, he wasn't afraid. No matter how strong his clone was, it wouldn't be a threat to him. This was where Gu Fei's confidence came from. He had the ability to control the life and death of others with a single thought. He was the only one who had mastered the life forbidden spell. This kind of ancient and practical forbidden spell was perfect for him to use to control his subordinates. He had quite a lot of subordinates. But now, he couldn't make use of them at all. This made him feel a little depressed. As soon as Gu Fei gave the order, the eyes of Gu Fei's clone in Heaven Demon Valley flashed with a sharp glint. I'll send you on your way. After saying that, Gu Fei's doppelganger took a step forward and instantly disappeared. What? Heavenly Bear Demon Lord was shocked. He couldn't even see the person in front of him clearly. How was this possible? His strength and speed had increased by several times? He was actually hiding his strength. Heavenly Bear Demon Lord was in disbelief. At this moment, he felt a sharp pain on his back. Then, he heard the sound of bones breaking. He was very familiar with this sound because he often crushed other people's bones. Tian Xiong was a devil lord, and the number of human experts who had died in his hands was uncountable. What he liked the most was to hug his enemies and crush all their bones. For a saint-level expert, they could still live even if their bones were crushed. However, it was definitely an extremely painful and terrifying thing to watch and listen to one's bones being crushed one by one. Heavenly Bear Demon Lord enjoyed other people's pain. To him, the more pain others were in, the happier he was. But now, what he heard was not the sound of other people's bones being crushed. Instead, it was his own bones being broken. This was ridiculous. Roar! Heavenly Bear Demon Lord roared. All the golden hair on his body stood up. Every strand of hair was like a demonic needle. They suddenly shot out from his body and shot in all directions. This attack had no blind spots. Every inch of the void was shrouded in golden demonic light. Humph! Gu Fei's clone sneered. He was forced out, but he was fearless. Go to hell! Heavenly Bear Demon Lord roared. He stomped on the ground and leaped up ferociously, pouncing at Gu Fei's clone. Heavenly Bear Demon Lord's fist smashed down on Gu Fei's head with all his might. Under this attack, even the void was collapsing. It was extremely terrifying. However, Gu Fei merely raised his right hand and blocked Heavenly Bear Demon Lord's fists. What? Heavenly Bear Demon Lord was truly taken aback. His full-powered strike was actually blocked by the other party with a single hand? How was this possible? Was he in Supreme Being? Even Qin Yao, who was up in the skies, widened her mouth in shock. She was the princess of the Qin race. Naturally, her knowledge wasn't something that ordinary people could compare with. Heavenly Bear Demon Lord was a powerful being of the Heavenly Bear race. This was especially the case after he transformed. He was extremely strong. Even Qin Yao herself wouldn't dare to receive a single blow from the transformed Heavenly Bear Demon Lord head-on. But this Gu Fei was able to receive this blow from Heavenly Bear Demon Lord with ease. This sort of strength, this sort of cultivation state. Could he already be in Supreme Being? Did he use some sort of method to seal his own cultivation state? Qin Yao was extremely doubtful. Go! At this moment, within the valley, Gu Fei's clone grabbed onto one of Heavenly Bear Demon Lord's arms and swung him up, smashing him towards the group of demon soldiers on the ground. That's... Hurry up and run! The demon soldiers on the ground had just gotten into formation and were about to strike out against the enemy in the skies. However, when they raised their heads, they realized that their demon lord was smashing down towards them. It was difficult for them to escape now. Boom! Chapter 42:14. Gu Fei's clone was extremely domineering as he pushed his way through, causing the demons in Sky Devil Valley to bleed like a river. The stench of blood filled the air. At this moment, Gu Fei's clone smashed Heavenly Bear Demon Lord into a formation of demonic soldiers below. In the next moment, the entire ground exploded as countless demonic soldiers were annihilated in body and soul. Dust rose as a huge pit appeared on the ground. The might of Gu Fei's smash had actually destroyed a battle formation. That was a battle formation of close to 10,000 people. With the power of close to 10,000 people gathered together, it was enough to contend against a sage. That was an immortal-grade demonic soldier. With the power of close to 10,000 immortal-grade demonic soldiers fused together, they could unleash an attack with the power of a sage. However, before the 10,000 demonic soldiers could attack, the battle formation was destroyed by Gu Fei. After his transformation, Heavenly Bear Demon Lord was extremely powerful. The strength of his demonic body was close to that of a quasi-supreme. The might of this smash would even shock Qin Yao. Roar! The roar of Heavenly Bear Demon Lord rang out from that huge pit on the ground. Terrifying sound waves spread out, causing the ground to tremble violently. Those demon soldiers that had yet to die were shaken by the sound waves and died instantly. Heavenly Bear Demon Lord had thick skin and flesh. Although this smash did not kill him, he was battered and exhausted. You! Heavenly Bear Demon Lord soared into the sky and came before Gu Fei's clone. You what? Go on your way! Gu Fei's clone could not be bothered to say anything more to this guy. He pointed out with a finger and an immortal divine light shot out from the tip of his finger. This divine light emitted an extremely sharp sword chi fluctuation. Under the impact of the sword chi, the temperature of the entire world plummeted. This clone of Gu Fei cultivated in the sword Dao. With a sword in hand, he could break through all mystic arts. Roar! Heavenly Bear Demon Lord roared. Layers of demonic marks appeared on his body. The demonic marks interweaved and formed a demonic diagram in front of him. The demonic diagram sealed the void, and Heavenly Bear Devil Venerable wanted to block that sword light. However, the sword light pierced through the layers of demonic diagrams and pierced through Tian Xiong Demon Venerable's chest, drawing out a stream of demonic blood. Haha, what use is that? My demon body is indestructible! Heavenly Bear Archdevil laughed maniacally. Even if his demon body was shattered, he could recover instantly. The recovery ability of the Heavenly Bear demons was definitely one of the best among the demons. At the level of the Heavenly Bear Demon Lord, he had long reached the point where he could revive from just a single drop of blood. Really? Gu Fei's doppelganger smiled. You want to kill me with mere sword chi? You're underestimating me. Demon Lord Heavenly Bear grinned as he stared at the black-robed youth. Sigh, are demons all idiots? Gu Fei's doppelganger shook his head helplessly. Who are you calling a fool? Demon Venerable Heavenly Bear was instantly enraged. Isn't that so? You still don't know that you're about to die. What a joke! Gu Fei's doppelganger sighed. What? Demon Venerable Heavenly Bear was both shocked and furious. At this moment, he felt a chill in his heart, and all the blood in his body seemed to have frozen. The shock of the Heavenly Bear Demon Lord was truly not to be underestimated. At this moment, Demon Venerable Heavenly Bear realized that there was a terrifying killing force invading his body. This killing force was acting up. How is this possible? Demon Venerable Heavenly Bear stared at Gu Fei's doppelganger in disbelief. At this moment, Demon Venerable Heavenly Bear's movements stiffened. Soon, a layer of white frost appeared on the surface of his body. It was as though his entire body was frozen. In just a few breaths' time, Demon Venerable Heavenly Bear had turned into an ice sculpture. He fell from the sky and smashed hard onto the ground, shattering into pieces. A demon venerable of a generation had fallen just like that. Lord Demon Venerable. At the sight of this, all the demons in Sky Demon Valley were extremely shocked. Soon, the demons came back to their senses and fled. What an idiot! Gu Fei's doppelganger raised his right hand and a ball of divine light appeared on his palm. At the next moment, the ball of divine light exploded and turned into countless sword gleams that shot out in all directions before landing on the ground. Then, screams rang out. Each sword gleam pierced through a demon soldier. For a moment, blood was everywhere as the demon soldiers fell to the ground one after another. Even demon sages were unable to escape. They were pierced by the sword gleams and lost their lives. This killing sword was extremely terrifying. Even Demon Venerable Heavenly Bear could not withstand a single sword from Gu Fei's doppelganger, let alone these small fries. None of the demons were spared. Sky Demon Valley was completely annihilated by Gu Fei's doppelganger. This guy. In the sky, Qinya was stunned when she saw this. Gu Fei had actually flattened Sky Demon Valley all by himself. Gu Fei's battle was destined to shock the world. However, Gu Fei's doppelganger did not care about this. He shot up into the sky and disappeared into the horizon. Qinya was stunned when she saw this. Did Gu Fei just leave like that? Not long after Gu Fei left, the Iron Blood Taoist arrived with his army. When the Iron Blood Taoist and the others saw the scene in front of them, they were scared out of their wits. Countless demons in Sky Demon Valley had fallen to the ground. Blood flowed like a river. Is this Master's masterpiece? The Iron Blood Taoist and the others were stunned. Especially Saint Wujue, who almost wet his pants when he saw this. He did not expect their master to be so powerful that he could destroy Sky Demon Valley all by himself. That was the Heavenly Devil Valley. Behind the Heavenly Devil Valley was the entire extreme North Devil region. How is this possible? Saint Wujue mumbled to himself. Humph! To Master, nothing is impossible, Shu Guliang said coldly. The other sages did not say anything. Let's go and clean up the battlefield. The Iron Blood Taoist waved his right hand and led his army into Sky Demon Valley. At this moment, Gu Fei's doppelganger had already entered Gu Fei's inner world, and Gu Fei's real body had come out. He did not return to Wenxiang City. Instead, he headed straight for the entrance of the ancient road of the human race. He did not want to wait any longer. He wanted to set foot on the ancient road of the human race to find his daughter, Gu Ling. He believed that this battle would definitely be able to suppress those with ill intentions. The entrance of the ancient road of the human race was still under the control of the Qin clan. The other forces did not dare to voice their anger. One must know that the Qin clan was an emperor clan. Old man Qin Huang was so powerful that even the Jiang clan of the Desolation clan would not dare to provoke them. When Gu Fei arrived at the entrance of the ancient road of the human race, he was stopped by two experts from the Qin clan. What? Are you trying to rob me? Gu Fei furrowed his brows. Ha ha, little brat, you don't know the rules at all. Are you a barbarian from the mountains? A dark-skinned, tall, and thin middle-aged man said with a smile. If you wish to set foot on the ancient road of the human race, hand over 5 caddies of immortal crystals. The other middle-aged man said. 5 caddies of immortal crystals? When Gu Fei heard this, he felt a little displeased. That was immortal crystals. The Qin clan was too much. How could those rogue cultivators afford 5 caddies of immortal crystals? No? Then go back to where you came from, that middle-aged man said with a look of disdain. What if I don't leave? Gu Fei suddenly laughed. Then you don't have to leave. That middle-aged man's voice instantly turned cold. You want to kill me? Gu Fei was truly enraged. Was this Qin clan really so tyrannical? They even dared to kill 2 guards for their treasures? Just a little brat who came out of nowhere. So what if I kill him? What's the big deal? That tall and skinny middle-aged man said with disdain. Then you guys can come and kill me! Gu Fei was truly enraged. The Qin clan actually allowed these people to run amok? Humph! That tall and skinny middle-aged man sneered. With a wave of his right hand, a divine light rushed out from his hand and slashed towards Gu Fei. A sharp saber aura immediately spread out. Sigh! Gu Fei let out a sigh. In the next moment, he took a step forward and immediately disappeared on the spot. When that tall and skinny man saw this scene, he was both shocked and enraged. He lifted his head and saw a huge foot stomping down from the sky. Bam! That huge foot directly stepped on that tall and skinny man's face. That tall and skinny man cried out in pain and staggered backwards. He spat out a mouthful of fresh blood and over 10 teeth. What? When the other middle-aged man saw this, he was shocked and hurriedly made his move. With a wave of his right hand, a ball of black light immediately flew out from his hand and enveloped Gu Fei. Ha! When the two gatekeepers saw that Gu Fei was captured, they were instantly overjoyed. However, at the next moment, their laughter stopped abruptly. They saw that it was a net that enveloped Gu Fei. Gu Fei directly grabbed the net with both hands and pulled it to the left and right. A large hole was torn in the net. The two gatekeepers were shocked. They didn't dare to underestimate Gu Fei anymore. Kill! As Gu Fei spoke, he instantly disappeared. In the next moment, he appeared behind the two disciples of the Qin clan. Then, he used his hand as a blade and directly slashed their waists. Even in death, the two of them couldn't believe that this guy actually dared to kill them. Others might not dare to offend the Qin clan, but Gu Fei wasn't afraid. After killing the two scum of the Qin clan, Gu Fei directly walked in and arrived at the teleportation platform. At this moment, there were already many people inside. Brother, do you know that you have pierced the sky? The Qin clan isn't to be trifled with. A young Taoist suddenly said to Gu Fei. Is that so? Gu Fei didn't deny it. The news that he had killed the guard at the gate had already spread far and wide. Brother, you are amazing. You actually dared to kill someone from the Qin clan. Another middle-aged cultivator gave Gu Fei a thumbs up. Offending an emperor clan won't do you any good. An old man with white hair said. So what if you are from an emperor clan? If you dare to provoke me, I will kill you without mercy, Gu Fei said. His voice wasn't loud, but it reached everyone's ears. Chapter 42:15. In the eyes of all the cultivators in the human realm, the emperor clans were high and mighty existences that could contend against the extreme Tao legacies. Even the saints of the sacred grounds and God's sects wouldn't dare to offend the emperor clans. Who was this person? How dare he kill the two guards of the ancient road of the human race? Although the two guards were despicable, the cultivators who were about to set foot on the ancient road of the human race had no choice but to swallow their anger. Although the two guards' cultivation bases were nothing special, killing them was equivalent to slapping the emperor clans in the face. To ordinary cultivators, this was no different from courting death. How dare you! Who dares to kill the disciples of my clan? At this moment, an angry roar came from outside the entrance of the ancient road of the human race. Then, a terrifying aura surged in from the outside. All the cultivators on the ancient road of the human race were indescribably shocked. The cultivators around Gu Fei immediately dispersed and hid far away. If they were to stand together with Gu Fei, they would be in deep trouble. At this moment, a tall figure walked in from outside the entrance of the ancient road of the human race. The powerful aura disappeared the moment it entered the space outside the entrance. There was a formation guarding the entrance of the ancient road of the human race. The power of the formation suppressed all cultivators above the immortal God realm. In other words, as long as a cultivator's cultivation base was higher than the immortal God realm, they would be suppressed by the power of the formation. That person might be a great expert on the outside, but once he entered the range of the formation, he would be an immortal god. That is, at this time, the cultivators outside the entrance of the human clan's ancient road were shocked when they saw the tall cultivator striding in. Why is it him? This little fella is in trouble. Why is he here? The surrounding cultivators could recognize this person, but this was the first time Gu Fei saw this fella. This fella was wearing a white robe and looked handsome. His eyes were shining brightly. He was looking at Gu Fei. Are you the one who killed the 2 people outside? In the Qin clan, Qin Lei was the other expert apart from the Qin clan's princess. He was viewed as one of the successors of the Qin clan's next clan leader. The Qin clan's princess wasn't the only successor of the Qin clan's clan leader. Even if the princess wanted to sit on the position of clan leader, she would have to compete with the geniuses of the clan. Only those who are capable can occupy the top positions. This was the Qin clan's motto. So what if I killed him? Gu Fei looked at the guy opposite him with a faint smile. If that's the case, then you can die now, Qin Lei said coldly. He didn't ask who Gu Fei was or where he came from. He just wanted to kill Gu Fei. Many people wanted to kill me, but they were all killed by me in the end. Gu Fei looked at Qin Lei seriously and said, Is that so? That's because those people are trash, Qin Lei said proudly. You mean to say that you're not one of those trash? Gu Fei said with a smile. I don't care who you are or what background you have. Since you offended my Qin clan, only death awaits you, Qin Lei said and took a step forward. Bam! A muffled sound was heard and the entire ground shook. It was as though a giant had stomped on the ground. Qin Lei cultivated a secret technique of the Qin clan. Once he made his debut, he was known to be invincible among those of the same level. This was why he was so confident, and also the reason why he dared to attack at the entrance of the ancient road of the human clan. If you want to fight, let's fight. Why are you talking so much nonsense? Gu Fei said and took a step forward. He clenched his fist and punched towards Qin Lei. He already knew from the conversations of the surrounding people that this guy was called Qin Lei. Since when did the Qin clan have such a character? Qin Lei's arrogant and lofty aura couldn't be faked. Instinct told Gu Fei that this guy's cultivation was definitely not below the princess of the Qin clan. In the Qin clan, there was actually someone who could compete with the princess. This made Gu Fei feel a little incredulous. There were 2 experts in the Qin clan. Were they going to defy the heavens? Of course, the Qin clan was an imperial clan that had inherited the legacy of an invincible great emperor. It wasn't strange for there to be 1 or 2 top experts in the same generation. At this time, Qin Lei also punched towards Gu Fei. The 2 fists collided with each other in an instant, and the sound of metal clashing rang out. The 2 silhouettes separated in an instant, and collided with each other in an instant. The 2 of them were like 2 moving mountains, constantly colliding and clashing. This was a battle of pure physical strength. Both Gu Fei and Qin Lei's cultivation were suppressed to the immortal spirit realm by the power of the formation. This guy does have some skills. Gu Fei finally understood why Qin Lei was so confident. This guy had an extremely powerful physical body. His physical body was extremely tough. Qin Lei was very strong. Every move he made had great power. Although Gu Fei wasn't a saint yet, his physical body was extremely strong. One should know that his physical body had been tempered by eternal energy. The eternal power was known to be even stronger than the primordial chaos power. The primordial power had its limits, but the eternal power could exist for eternity. Qin Lei's physical body was very strong. One could tell that he had tempered his physical body with primordial force. This was the primordial Tao body. No wonder he was so confident. Primordial Tao body? Gu Fei smiled. Using primordial force to temper one's physical body. Only the imperial clan could do such a thing. One should know that it was primordial qi. You! Hearing Gu Fei's words, Qin Lei couldn't help but be astonished. This guy could recognize primordial qi? He even called out his own physique. What? Qin Lei has the primordial Tao body? The spectators were all shocked. The primordial Tao body was a physique that only existed in the legends. They were actually lucky enough to see such a physique. No wonder he was able to compete with Princess for the position of the next clan leader of the Qin clan. Someone exclaimed. Primordial Tao body! Everyone stared in disbelief at Qin Lei, who was fighting against Gu Fei. The 2 of them moved at an extremely fast speed, leaving behind only a series of afterimages in the void. Even if the spectators had divine eyes, it would still be difficult for them to catch a glimpse of them. Just their physical strength alone is already so strong? Everyone was in disbelief. The combat strength displayed by Gu Fei and Qin Lei was too strong. It had already surpassed the immortal realm. No wonder Qin Lei was known to be undefeatable in the same realm. Just his physical strength alone was already so strong. Wouldn't his strength be multiplied if he used his divine arts? This is what it means to be undefeatable in the same realm. We've all lived in vain. An elder sighed. The cultivation and combat strength of these two were beyond his reach even if he cultivated for his entire life. They are indeed undefeatable in the same realm. Another old man sighed. Boom! Bam! Muffled sounds of collision could be heard continuously. Gu Fei's hands danced in the air, constantly striking at Qin Lei's vital parts. However, Qin Lei was not to be trifled with. He blocked all of Gu Fei's attacks. No wonder you dared to kill those two guys outside. At this time, Qin Lei finally realized how powerful Gu Fei was. This guy could actually fight evenly with him. Could it be that this guy also had a heaven-defying constitution? That must be it. However, Qin Lei could not tell what kind of constitution this guy had. Gu Fei was like an ordinary person. This surprised Qin Lei. Could this be returning to one's natural state? Could one really return to one's natural state after cultivating to the extreme? Even Qin Lei himself was still surrounded by primordial chaos qi. It was impossible to completely conceal the primordial chaos qi on his body. At least, it was impossible in his opinion. How did this guy do it? Although Qin Lei was surprised, he was still very confident. The primordial Tao body was already the strongest Tao body in the world of cultivation. With the strongest Tao body, who would he be afraid of? There was no way there was a Tao body stronger than his in this world. You've surprised me, Gu Fei said as he attacked. What did you say? Qin Lei was both shocked and angry. Hey, you're here? At that moment, another person walked in from the entrance of the ancient road of humanity. This person wore purple clothes and had a graceful figure. Her face was covered, and her eyes were full of spirit. When she saw Gu Fei and Qin Lei fighting, she was shocked. Why is she here? When Qin Lei saw who it was, he could not help but feel shocked, revealing an opening. Naturally, Gu Fei would not miss such a rare opportunity. He grabbed Qin Lei's shoulder with his right hand. In the next moment, the sound of bones breaking was heard from Qin Lei's shoulder. Qin Lei's entire left arm was crippled. Roar! Qin Lei struggled fiercely and blood appeared. He had actually broken his left arm and retreated explosively. Nice. Gu Fei looked at the broken arm. He could not help but admire Qin Lei's decisiveness. He was ruthless to his enemies and even more ruthless to himself. Qin Lei knew very well that if he was caught by Gu Fei, he would be doomed eternally. He could only sever his arm and escape. If not, it would be hard for him to preserve his life. The other party wouldn't show mercy just because he was from the Qin clan. If not, this person wouldn't have acted to kill the two Qin clan members guarding this place. In reality, the two Qin clan members guarding the entrance of the ancient road of humanity were only from the side branches. They were not direct descendants of the Qin clan. The direct descendants of the Qin clan would not have been sent to guard the entrance of the ancient road of humanity. Die! Gu Fei stomped on the ground with his right foot and leaped into the air. Like a divine eagle, he swooped towards the retreating Qin Lei. A pair of eagle claws tore through the air. Have mercy! The person shouted. Humph! Gu Fei did not stop. He reached out with his right hand and grabbed Qin Lei's head. As long as he tightened his fingers, he would be able to crush Qin Lei's skull. How about you return me a favor? Just as Gu Fei was about to send this genius of the Qin clan on his way, he heard this person's words. Are you sure? Gu Fei glanced at the person. This person was the princess of the Qin clan, Qin Yao. She was the one who sent the letter to let Gu Fei know about her daughter. Gu Fei owed her a favor. Chapter 42:16. Killing you is as easy as killing a chicken for me. Gu Fei's right hand held onto Qin Lei's skull. If he wanted to, he could crush Qin Lei's skull, shatter his primordial spirit, and end his life. He didn't care who Qin Lei was. So what if he killed him? What else in this world could make him feel threatened? In the human world, with the power of heaven's punishment, supreme beings wouldn't dare to show themselves. Demigods couldn't do anything to him either. In other words, he could do whatever he wanted in the human world. Roar! Qin Lei struggled with all his might. However, the restraining force from Gu Fei's hand was far too strong for him to break free. On the empty field outside the entrance of the human race's ancient road, the spectators were shocked. Who was this person? How did he defeat Qin Lei? Qin Lei was one of the most talented descendants of the Qin clan. Ever since Qin Lei began his cultivation journey, he was known as undefeatable and undefeatable. It was true. Ever since he began his cultivation journey, he had never met a worthy opponent. Against those of the same level, he could be considered undefeatable. However, the battle between him and Gu Fei, who were both in the immortal god realm, had ended with his defeat. Such an outcome was out of everyone's expectations. How is this possible? That's Qin Lei we're talking about. How did he lose so badly? Under everyone's watchful eyes, could it be fake? Who would have thought that Qin Lei's undefeatable legend would be ended by this person? The spectators all felt that it was a pity. Just as Gu Fei was about to kill Qin Lei, Qin Yao arrived. Qin Yao and Qin Lei were the most talented descendants of the Qin clan, and were two of the candidates for the next clan leader. The two were competitors. However, Qin Yao was willing to waste a favor from Gu Fei in exchange for Qin Lei's life. As such, it was a little surprising. One had to know that if Qin Lei died, Qin Yao would have one less powerful competitor. The position of the Qin clan's next clan leader would be hers. It seems like you are not destined to die today. Gu Fei looked at Qin Lei and grinned. With a wave of his right hand, he tossed Qin Lei to Qin Yao's feet. I hope you won't regret it. Gu Fei glanced at Qin Yao and said indifferently. Today's humiliation will be repaid in the future. Qin Lei stood up from the ground in a sorry state. He glared at Gu Fei and gritted his teeth. I think you'd better take a detour when you see me next time. You won't be so lucky next time. Gu Fei didn't take Lei Qin seriously at all. In the eyes of others, the primordial Tao body was the strongest Tao body in the world. However, Gu Fei was unafraid. You! Qin Lei was so angry that he spat out a mouthful of blood. His body swayed and he nearly fell. He was a proud son of heaven, and no one had ever dared to look down on him. Who exactly was this guy? Qin Lei still did not know who Gu Fei was. Without hesitation, Gu Fei stepped onto the ancient road of the human tribe and disappeared at the entrance. Who is this lord? The spectators all shook their heads. Preposterous! Qin Lei was about to go crazy. He had been saved by his rival, Qin Yao. This was worse than killing him. How could he compete with Qin Yao for the position of clan leader? You know him? Who is he? Qin Lei stared at Qin Yao and asked. His name is Gu Fei. Qin Yao glanced at Qin Lei, then turned around and left without looking back. Gu Fei? Why does this name sound so familiar? I seem to have heard it somewhere before. Everyone was deep in thought. Gu Fei? Qin Lei's face turned pale when he heard this. Although he had never met Gu Fei, as the most outstanding descendant of the Qin clan, he naturally knew many things that others did not. She knows Gu Fei? Qin Lei was in disbelief. This was a fierce man of his generation. Back in the day, this fierce man had killed so many people that blood flowed like a river. His reputation was built on killing. Was that Gu Fei? Some of the older cultivators finally remembered who Gu Fei was. Could it really be him? Someone said in shock. He actually embarked on the ancient road of the human race. The news spread and shocked the entire world of cultivation. Gu Fei had returned. A fierce man of his generation had actually returned. Gu Fei's return was unbelievable to many. One should know that Gu Fei had not appeared for a very long time. When the news of Gu Fei annihilating Heaven Devil Valley and defeating Qin Lei of the Qin clan spread, the entire world of cultivation was in an uproar. The news even reached the heavenly realm. While the entire world of cultivation was in an uproar because of Gu Fei's return, Gu Fei had already embarked on the ancient road of the human race. The ancient road of the human race was a path of cultivation. Once one walked on this path, one's cultivation would definitely improve greatly. Of course, this path was not peaceful and there were dangers everywhere. At this time, Gu Fei was moving forward rapidly in the void. Soon, an impregnable pass appeared in front of him. Gu Fei stepped onto the pass and saw that the entire pass had been turned into ruins. The tall walls had already collapsed. The first pass of the human race had actually turned into ruins. Gu Fei walked in the ruins and saw white bones everywhere. He could also see fragments of ritual implements scattered on the ground. It seemed that an incomparably fierce battle had taken place here. Swoosh! The moment Gu Fei stopped, a black shadow flew from his feet and bit towards his calf. Gu Fei stretched out his right hand and directly used his index and middle fingers to clamp the black shadow. The black shadow was only the length of a chopstick, and it constantly struggled in his hand. It was a black snake. Humph! Gu Fei waved his hand and the black snake immediately flew out. Animals were extinct. Gu Fei walked through the entire huge planet. Finally, he stopped in front of a towering ancient tree. He lifted his head to look at the tree. He saw that the tree pierced through the clouds. The diameter of the tree was more than 100 meters. This was the oldest and largest tree on the entire planet. "Show yourself," Gu Fei said calmly. There was no movement around. "Do you want me to invite you out?" Gu Fei stared at the tree. There was still no reaction from the tree. Humph! Gu Fei flipped his right hand, and a ball of divine fire immediately appeared in his palm. Whoosh! At this moment, the tree in front of Gu Fei moved. Countless roots broke through the ground and directly entangled Gu Fei. A ball of divine light appeared on Gu Fei's body. The tree roots that were trying to entangle him were directly blocked by his protective divine light. At this moment, the huge divine tree shook. The huge tree trunk cracked, and a figure struggled out of the tree trunk. It was a young man with green hair. "This is..." Seeing this, Gu Fei did not make a move. He waited for the divine tree to shed its trunk. This method of shedding one's original body was common among the demon race. Great demons who shed their original body would become stronger and more terrifying. The young man who struggled out of the tree trunk exuded a horrifying aura. A peerless great demon was born. No wonder there was not a single animal on this huge planet. They were all eaten by this divine tree. This tree had reached the realm of transformation and needed a large amount of essence. Once it succeeded, this divine tree would be reborn. Half an hour later, the young man struggled to climb out of the tree trunk. Boom! In the next moment, endless essence gathered from all directions and was directly devoured by this young man. In an instant, the weather on the huge planet changed. All the world essence chi of the entire planet was being attracted by this guy. Chapter 42:17. The ancient road of the human race was not an easy path to tread. It was a form of training. There were all sorts of dangers on the road, and one careless mistake could lead to death. Countless years ago, the supreme existences of the human race built the ancient road of the human race to allow the human race to seek breakthroughs in life and death situations, to break through their own limits. Therefore, those who set foot on the ancient road of the human race were prepared to face death. It was clear that something horrifying had happened on the ancient road of the human race. Even the strongest pass of the human race had been breached and turned into ruins. The destruction of the human race's pass was no small matter. Outside beings could enter the human realm through the entrance of the ancient road of the human race. Gu Fei did not have the time to care about who had attacked the ancient road of the human race. He needed to rush to the primeval ancestral planet to save his daughter, Gu Ling. However, along the way, Gu Fei found that the entire ancient road was very strange. The human race on the ancient road seemed to have been cleansed. Someone actually dared to do such a thing. This had crossed Gu Fei's bottom line. After all, he was a human. Rumble. At this time, on a nameless planet, an ancient tree was actually transforming. The heaven and earth spiritual chi of the entire planet was being drawn over. Even the heaven and earth spiritual chi of the nearby starry skies was being drawn over. This ancient tree had cultivated for an unknown period of time. Today, it could finally take the step of transforming. Gu Fei did not stop it. He wanted to know what had happened on this planet from the mouth of this ancient tree. Although this ancient tree was powerful, it was far from the five elements tree king of the past. Of course, Gu Fei made this judgment based on its constitution. This ancient tree only had an ordinary constitution, while the five elements tree king of the past had a constitution of all five elements. Ordinary beings could also be heaven-defying. Even a blade of grass could become an invincible great emperor. An ordinary person could also become an invincible Renhuang that swept through the 3,000 great realms. Although innate constitutions were important, it would not determine a person's or a being's future achievements. Growth was the key. Gu Fei stood with his hands clasped behind his back, waiting quietly. The old tree's boundless essence all gathered into a bewitching young man. The young man was formed from the old tree's soul. He left the tree's body and took on human form. This was a perfect transformation for the old tree. From now on, he was no longer a tree, but a humanoid creature of the wood element. He was naturally compatible with the power of the wood element. The weather on the entire planet changed, the sun and moon dimmed, and the boundless energy of the world and the vital essence of all living beings was being madly seized by the green-haired young man. All the plants on the planet were withering, and all the wood elemental creatures on the planet were heading towards death. This was using the lives of countless wood elemental creatures on this vast planet to help this old tree grow. Boundless essence energy gathered towards the green-haired young man. Every breath of the young man caused the entire world to tremble. After taking human form, it's already a half-step saint. This old tree is quite amazing. Gu Fei was also a little surprised. This old tree had cultivated for countless years. Once it transformed, it directly became a half-step sage. It was only a matter of time before it became a sage. It could be said that this old tree had reached the sky in a single step. The green-haired young man that was formed from the old tree's soul didn't take the step of becoming a sage. He stopped at the half-step saint realm. The young man stopped, and the chaotic energy in the world gradually calmed down. Human, why are you here? The green-haired young man floated in the air, looking down at Gu Fei indifferently, as if he was above everyone else. Half-step saints could indeed stand above all living beings. I'm not used to raising my head to talk to others. Come down, Gu Fei said indifferently. What did you say? The green-haired young man glared, and two beams of green light rushed out of his eyes, piercing towards Gu Fei. How dare you! At this moment, a figure suddenly appeared next to Gu Fei. It was a blurry figure, but the aura it exuded was very shocking. The figure didn't even move his hand. He only blew, and the two beams of green light that pierced towards Gu Fei disappeared in the void. What? Seeing this, the green-haired young man's eyeballs almost fell out of their sockets. You! The green-haired young man was really shocked. Why aren't you coming down? Do you really want me to invite you? Gu Fei didn't even look at the guy. Who are you? The green-haired young man stared at Gu Fei, his face extremely solemn. Little fella, come down! As Gu Fei spoke, the figure next to him made a move. The blurry figure only raised his right hand, and the green-haired young man in the sky screamed and fell from the sky, landing at Gu Fei's feet. The figure pressed his right hand towards the green-haired young man, and the green-haired young man sank into the ground. Don't! Spare me! The green-haired young man finally realized how powerful the other party was. The person beside him didn't make a move, but the person next to him made a move, and he couldn't fight back at all. It was hard to imagine how powerful this black-haired young man was. It should be known that the green-haired young man was transformed from an old divine tree. After successfully transforming, he directly possessed the powerful cultivation and combat strength of a half-step sage. That was a half-step sage. Although he wasn't a real sage, he was close to it. The figure next to Gu Fei withdrew his right hand. The green-haired young man immediately felt his body lighten, and he quickly climbed out of the ground, looking extremely embarrassed. So it's Lord Sage. The green-haired young man knelt down at Gu Fei's feet in fear. Let me ask you, why is it that aside from flowers and trees, there are no other living creatures on this planet? Gu Fei asked indifferently. Lord Sage, that's because of the foreign races. The green-haired young man hurriedly said. The foreign races? Gu Fei couldn't help but frown when he heard this. The so-called foreign races referred to those living beings that weren't in the human world. The foreign races actually attacked the ancient road of the human race. This was definitely not a good thing. The foreign races feed on blood. All living beings with flesh and blood on this planet are doomed, the green-haired young man said. What? Gu Fei was shocked when he heard this. The foreign races were actually so powerful, and it was beyond Gu Fei's imagination. Gu Fei pondered for a moment, then directly soared into the sky and disappeared into the void. The figure next to him also disappeared. The green-haired young man didn't expect that Gu Fei would let him go so easily. This made him surprised and happy, and he felt like he had escaped from death. Who is this person? The green-haired young man murmured to himself. Chapter 42:18. The otherworldly tribes had once attacked the ancient road of the human tribe. Wherever the otherworldly tribes passed, all living beings with flesh and blood would suffer because the otherworldly tribes fed on blood. However, Gu Fei was unafraid. He displayed his extreme speed and moved quickly in the starry sky. Soon, a bright starfield appeared in front of him. The large stars were glowing, and the power of the stars was vast. The radiant starfield? Gu Fei stopped in the air and looked at the starfield in front of him. He could not help but feel surprised. The ancient road of the human tribe that led to the primeval ancestral planet was indeed dangerous. Gu Fei did not hesitate and directly flew toward the starfield in front of him. The closer he got to the radiant starfield, the stronger the power of the stars. He directly entered the radiant starfield. Did the otherworldly tribes also come to the radiant starfield? Gu Fei could not sense any aura. There was not a single living being in the entire radiant starfield, which surprised him. This was a starfield, after all. A place like the radiant starfield, where the power of the stars gathered, was definitely not a place without a master. However, no one came out to stop Gu Fei. The entire starfield was eerily quiet. That is, Gu Fei suddenly saw countless objects floating in the starry sky in front of him. Countless bricks and tiles were scattered in the starry sky. It was a wasteland. From afar, it looked like a star that had been blown up. As expected, Gu Fei was not surprised to see this. It was just a star that had been blown up. Even he could blow up a star with a punch now. This was a battle between powerful beings above the sage level. Sages could pluck stars, capture moons, and swallow suns. Destroying a star was as easy as flipping one's hand for a sage-level being. Gu Fei passed through the wasteland and was shocked by the scene in front of him. It was a huge wasteland in front of him. Countless stars had been blown up. He smelled blood. Whoosh! Gu Fei took a step forward and disappeared into the void. When he reappeared, he was deep in the wasteland. This was a star field that had been destroyed, and there were broken stars everywhere. At this time, in front of Gu Fei, there was a creature larger than a star floating in the void along with several shattered stars. It was a creature that Gu Fei had never seen before. It looked like a pangolin, but it had 6 sharp claws. There was a bloody hole in this creature's head. It seemed like someone had pierced through its head and killed it here. The stench of blood that Gu Fei smelled came from this creature. Even though this creature was dead, the fiendish aura that emanated from its body was not something that ordinary people could endure. What is this? Gu Fei muttered to himself. This should be the so-called alien race from the outer space. Sure enough, it was ugly enough. The xenorace fed on blood, and everywhere they passed, living beings with flesh and blood would be annihilated without leaving a single one alive. They could be said to be ferocious to the extreme. Gu Fei suddenly pointed a finger, and a ray of divine light immediately rushed out from the tip of his finger, instantly shooting at the giant beast in front of him. Clang! The moment the beam of light hit the giant beast, a metallic clang rang out. It was unable to break through the scales on the giant beast's body. How is this possible? Gu Fei was taken aback. Although it was a casual strike from him, it couldn't even break the scales on the giant beast's body. This giant beast was absolutely powerful to the extreme. And the existence that killed this gigantic beast was most likely a quasi-supreme being. At this moment, the head of this giant beast suddenly moved. Ha! Gu Fei was shocked, thinking that this giant beast was not completely dead. However, the next moment, something suddenly crawled out of the bloody hole on the head of this giant beast. This thing was golden, and it looked like a beetle. This beetle-like thing had a long, sharp thorn growing out of its mouth. Swoosh! The golden beetle-like thing actually pounced at Gu Fei at an extremely fast speed. Humph! Gu Fei slapped out and directly slapped this unknown creature away. However, this creature was extremely strong, and in the next moment, it pounced at Gu Fei. Gu Fei flipped his right hand, and a divine sword immediately appeared in his hand. Swoosh! Gu Fei slashed with his sword, and a sword light flashed through the void. The beetle-like thing was slashed in half by Gu Fei's sword. Another alien race? Gu Fei sheathed his sword and continued to walk forward. Soon, he saw many corpses again. This time, there were human corpses, broken weapons, and a strong smell of blood. Cough, cough! Just as Gu Fei was shocked, a cough suddenly came from the starry sky on his right. There are still people alive! When Gu Fei heard the cough, his eyes suddenly lit up, and he directly rushed in the direction of the sound. A middle-aged man in a navy blue robe was sitting cross-legged on a huge rock floating in the air. This middle-aged man was covered in blood. In some places, even his bones were exposed. The middle-aged man's aura began to weaken. If there were no accidents, this middle-aged man was definitely dead because his injuries were too serious. You are! When Gu Fei came to the giant rock, the man was surprised and happy. In his excitement, he spat out a mouthful of blood. What the hell happened? Gu Fei asked. An alien race, the middle-aged man said and coughed again. When the middle-aged man finished coughing, he told Gu Fei what had happened. It turned out that the entire radiant starfield had been invaded by the alien race. After a great battle, except for a few human experts who had successfully escaped, the rest were all killed and eaten by the alien race. The human race and other living creatures were treated as food by the alien race. The destruction of the radiant starfield shocked Gu Fei. From the middle-aged man, he learned that the alien race had already killed their way to the primeval ancestral star. After hearing this, Gu Fei took out a medicinal pill and threw it to the middle-aged man. This is... The middle-aged man caught the divine pill, and a fragrance immediately rushed into his nose. Gu Fei did not pay attention to this guy anymore, and directly rushed in the direction of the primeval ancestral star. He wanted to see how strong and arrogant the alien race was to dare to sweep the entire ancient road of the human race. I don't have to die. At this time, the middle-aged man in the radiant starfield ate the divine pill that Gu Fei had given him. Chapter 42:19. There were 5 ancestral stars in the human realm. The primordial ancestral star was the most mysterious among the 5. Some said that the first life in the human realm was born from the primordial ancestral star. At this moment, the most mysterious ancestral star in the human realm was facing a catastrophe. The alien races had surrounded the ancestral star from all directions. The huge ancestral star was extremely eye-catching among the endless stars. It was a green planet. The ancestral star was so huge that even a sage would need a long time to travel across the entire ancestral star. Moreover, there were some places on the ancestral star that even a sage would not dare to set foot on. What's going on? Where did these alien races come from? The upper echelons of the Heavenly South Sword faction gathered in a palace on a sacred mountain in the primordial ancestral star. The Heavenly South Sword faction was one of the top forces in the Heavenly South continent. The Sword Master, Emotiani, was the #1 expert and sword principal in the Heavenly South continent. Sword Master, should we make a move? A white-haired elder asked the Sword Master of Heavenly South, who was sitting on a throne in the main hall. They're just alien races. There's no need for us to make a move. The others will chase them away. The Sword Master of Heavenly South said disapprovingly. That's true. Let's just watch the show, another elder said with a smile. In their opinion, this was not the first time the alien races had invaded the human realm. No matter how strong the alien races were, they would not be able to break through the defensive formation of the primordial ancestral star. This peerless formation that enveloped the entire planet could even block an extreme-grade supremacy. Although the foreign tribes were strong, they probably didn't have an extreme-grade sovereign. Furthermore, even if there was an extreme-grade sovereign in the foreign tribes, that extreme-grade sovereign wouldn't dare to make a move against them. The human realm had the power of heavenly punishment. At this moment, the entrance of the primordial ancestral star was filled with cultivators who wanted to enter the planet. It was actually not that troublesome to enter the primordial ancestral star. However, once the defensive formation of the primordial ancestral star was activated, it would be very troublesome to enter the planet. Currently, there were only 4 entrances to enter the primordial ancestral star. Those 4 entrances were the legendary 4 great heavenly gates: north, south, west, and west. Each of the 4 heavenly gates was guarded by an ancient city. Those who wanted to enter the primeval ancestral star had to enter the ancient city first, and the heavenly gate was in the central square of the ancient city. However, the gate of heaven was closed at this moment. Once the gate of heaven was closed, it could not be opened from the outside. Therefore, the 4 great ancient cities were now filled with cultivators. Why did you close the heavenly gate at this time? Quick, let us in. In the square of Nantion City, countless cultivators were furious. They had all escaped from the star regions near the primordial ancestral planet. The alien races from the outer space swept across the entire star region, devouring everything wherever they went. Countless races were exterminated. This was also a disaster for the human race. Because the human race was the strongest race in the mortal dimension, and it was the race with the largest population. Experts emerged in large numbers, and they were the absolute main characters of the mortal dimension. Boom! Right at this moment, a loud bang sounded out, and the entire Nantion city shook. What's going on? Have the alien tribes from the outer space arrived? A terrifying and tense atmosphere immediately enveloped the entire Nantion city. Countless people were terrified. The alien tribes from the outer space treated them as food. No one wanted to become food for the alien tribes. Boom! Another loud bang was heard. Outside Nantion City, there was actually a huge creature attacking Nantion City, and its violent power shook heaven and earth. However, such a powerful force still could not shake the Guardian formation. Master, what should we do? In a simple room in an inn in Nantion City, a girl in purple clothes said to another young woman. Let's wait and see. The woman did not say anything else. There were 2 young men in the room. Haha, you're dead. Come out and let me eat you. A wave of divine will directly penetrated the Guardian formation from the outside and entered Nantion City. Everyone was inexplicably shocked. Don't be so arrogant. A voice came from the City Lord's mansion. The next moment, a beam of divine light directly flew out from the City Lord's mansion and directly pierced the head of the creature that was attacking Nantion City. The alien race creature that was even larger than a mountain died just like that. What? At this time, all the cultivators in the entire Nantion City were dumbfounded. They did not expect there to be such a powerful being in Nantion City. Roar! At this moment, an angry roar came from the distant starry sky. Then countless figures appeared in the sky. A terrifying and monstrous evil aura spread out. Everyone was extremely shocked. Are they going to get serious? Such words came from the city lord's mansion. Boom! Soon, the terrifying figure directly hit the guardian formation of Nantion City. Amidst the loud bang, the entire giant city shook. What? Countless cultivators in the city were extremely terrified. At this time, not only Nantion City, but also the places where the other heaven gates were located were under attack. The alien tribes from the outer space finally made their move. However, in the ancient cities where the other heaven gates were located, there were also unimaginably powerful beings guarding them. Therefore, a great battle broke out. For a moment, the sky was filled with battle cries. When Gu Fei arrived near the primordial ancestral star and saw this scene, he could not help but be moved. Little one, don't you look where you're going? Come here! At this time, in Nantion City, a young girl ran into an old man. This old man was like a raging fire. He stretched out his hand and directly grabbed the young girl in purple. A black hole seemed to have appeared in his palm. A devouring power instantly enveloped the young girl in purple, trying to pull her over. However, the young girl in purple was as still as a mountain. No matter how strong the wind was, it could not move her at all. What? The old man was shocked. Dragon catcher hand? You're from the Mo family? Unfortunately, you can't catch a dragon like me. The young girl smiled indifferently. She was Yennefer. She was ordered by her master to see if the heaven gate had opened, but she did not expect to bump into this old man. In fact, the old man was rash, so the two of them collided. It was obvious that this old man was very unhappy and wanted to take out his anger on Yennefer. You! The old man could not help but be moved. He no longer held back. In the next moment, the devouring power from his palms suddenly increased by 10 times. Eat my fist! Yennefer roared. She took a step forward and punched the old man with a featherlight punch. She's crazy! How dare she attack the second elder? Seeing this scene, everyone in the square was so shocked that their jaws dropped to the ground. This old man was the second elder of the Mo family, and he had a relationship with the city lord Mo Tianyi. Moreover, the second elder's cultivation was second only to the city lord Mo Tianyi. In everyone's opinion, Yennefer was really bold and did not know the immensity of heaven and earth. She dared to attack Crazy Mo. She was simply courting death. Even Crazy Mo's face showed a trace of disdain. He instantly increased the strength of his hand. Bang! At this moment, under everyone's incredulous gaze, Yennefer's fist and Crazy Mo's palm collided, making a muffled sound. Yennefer had actually blocked Crazy Mo's blow. Huh! This time, Crazy Mo could not help but be moved. He only felt a strong force coming from his hand, shaking his arm until it was sore. However, at this moment, Crazy Mo suddenly saw a strange smile on Yennefer's face. What? Crazy Mo was taken aback. In the next moment, Yennefer's right foot fiercely stomped on the ground. The entire ground immediately cracked open. At the same time, she exhaled and let out a thunderous roar. She instantly concentrated all the strength in her body into her right fist. Then, Crazy Mo felt a violent force that seemed to come from ancient times erupt from the opponent's fist. In the next moment, Crazy Mo's entire body was sent flying. The scalp-tingling sound of bones breaking rang out. One punch shakes the universe! Yennefer's voice reached the ears of all the cultivators in the square. All the cultivators in the square were stunned. Everyone was dumbfounded. An expert like Crazy Mo could not even block a punch from this little girl? How was this possible? Everyone in the square felt like they were in a dream. They only felt that everything was so unreal. One had to know that Crazy Mo was the second elder of the Mo family, a saint emperor. Yennefer actually defeated Crazy Mo with one punch. This was simply a miracle. Little girl, you dared to injure our second elder? Are you courting death? Just as everyone was in a daze, an angry roar came from afar. Another old man rushed over like a bolt of lightning. He had not yet arrived, but his voice was like thunder in everyone's ears. Everyone in the square was instantly shaken out of their shock by this thunderous roar. I'm courting death? Yen stared at the newcomer, her eyes incomparably sharp. What? Do you want to beat me up too? The newcomer said angrily. His cultivation was not something that crazy Mo could compare to. This is the Mo family's grand elder, someone exclaimed. The Mo family's grand elder? This little girl is in deep trouble, someone sighed. The Mo family's grand elder was not someone that crazy Mo, the second elder, could compare to. Enough! At that moment, a dignified voice rang out. A figure had appeared in the sky and was looking over at them. City Lord. When everyone saw that person, they hurriedly bowed. This is a matter of life and death for our family, and you dare to rebel? What a scandal! The person swept his gaze over the crowd and said coldly. Even the Mo family's grand elder and second elder's expressions changed. City Lord, it's this little girl. Someone wanted to say more. I said enough, didn't you hear me? The City Lord said in a deep voice. Little girl, you should leave. The City Lord looked at Yenner and waved his hand. Chapter 42:20. The Mo family was a powerful force in Nantian City, but it was ruled by one person, Mo Tianyi, the City Lord of Nantian City. Mo Tianyi was the most powerful man in the Mo family. Even the chief elder and the second elder did not dare to act presumptuously in front of him. Mo Tianyi was the reason the Mo family was so powerful on the ancestral planet. Without Mo Tianyi, the Mo family would immediately be destroyed or swallowed by other forces. This was the law of the jungle. Only the strong could laugh at the top of the world, and the weak could only be vassals. Therefore, when Mo Tianyi appeared, even the chief elder and the second elder of the Mo family had to bow their heads. Instead of leaving, Yenner questioned Mo Tianyi, the City Lord of Nantian City. You are the City Lord of Nantian City. Why did you close the southern heaven gate and stop us from entering the ancestral planet? This little girl. The people around them were shocked. Many of them were worried for Yenner. After all, the person in the sky was the City Lord of Nantian City. The City Lord controlled the life and death of all living beings in the city. Who would dare to speak to the City Lord like that? Newborn calves are not afraid of tigers. Some of the older cultivators looked at Yen and murmured. Humph! I'm afraid that this little girl has the support of an incredible existence behind her. Someone said something like that. The superclans, sects, and dynasties on the ancestral planet were all superforces that could dominate a region. The heirs of these forces often came out to train. These descendants were all people with unique skills and countless shocking methods. Even the older cultivators did not want to offend them, so they had to be careful when dealing with them. Many people thought that Yenner was an heir from one of the superforces on the ancestral planet. Otherwise, why would she dare to speak to Mo Tianyi like that? Whether the heaven gate is closed or not has nothing to do with me. Mo Tianyi took one look at Yenner, then disappeared into thin air. What did he mean? Yenner was baffled. Could it be that the City Lord couldn't even control the gate of Heaven's Gate? At this time, outside Nantian City, countless alien races gathered from all directions. Each of these alien races was extremely fierce and powerful. There were so many alien races that the entire starry sky was filled with their figures. Brutal, ominous aura filled every inch of the void. Even with the barrier of the defensive formation, the living beings on the primordial ancestral star still felt their hearts palpitating. The alien races from outer space are invading us? Countless cultivators in Nantian City were shocked to the extreme when they saw this. Among those alien races, there were quite a few alien races that were as huge as mountains. Their bodies were emitting terrifying, monstrous killing intent. These killing intents were much stronger than that of the alien race from before. What's going on? There was a wave of panic in Nantian City. This was not a good thing for everyone in the city. Boom! Another loud sound rang out, and the entire Nantian City shook. A terrifying aura surged in from outside the city, causing countless cultivators in the city to feel inexplicably terrified. You're courting death! A loud shout came from the city lord's residence. Then, a beam of divine light pierced through the void and pierced the alien beast that was attacking Nantian's city outside the defensive formation. Roar! The exotic beast roared, and a blood-red light flashed. The figure had actually pierced through the exotic beast's body. Although the alien creature was powerful, it was still seriously injured and retreated. Huh! There was a cry of surprise from the city lord's residence. Someone was surprised that the blow did not kill the alien beast. At this time, countless alien races from outer space pounced on Nantian's city. In the next moment, a dense sound of collisions was heard. The alien races directly hit the invisible shield formed by the power of the defensive formation. Suddenly, there was a bloody light, and countless wild alien beasts were directly shocked to death. They fell from the sky, and the smell of blood filled the air. It was nauseating. Countless cultivators in Nantian City were shocked to see this scene. These guys really don't want to live anymore. The power of the defensive formation was extremely powerful. It was definitely not easy to break the formation and kill their way in. Otherwise, the alien races from outer space would not have besieged the primordial ancestral planet for more than a decade and only made a move today. However, soon, the cultivators in the city found that the blood of the alien races could actually corrode the light shield formed by the power of the defensive formation. The cultivators in the city could not stay calm. No wonder these guys rushed up without a care for their lives. It turned out that there was something wrong with their blood. What should we do? Once these guys kill their way in, we'll all be finished. What are you afraid of? With the city lord here, what can these alien races do? However, although those who forced themselves to stay calm said that they were not afraid, they were extremely terrified. After all, everyone only had one life. If they died, everything would be over. At this time, on a planet tens of thousands of miles away from the primordial ancestral planet, Gu Fei stood above a ruin and looked at the primordial ancestral planet from afar. This ruin was surrounded by the smell of blood. Around the ruin, there were more than a dozen alien beasts lying on the ground. Without exception, these alien beasts had all been killed with a single blow. Naturally, Gu Fei was the only one who could do that. The alien races from outer space are attacking the primordial ancestral planet? Although Gu Fei was experienced and knowledgeable, he could not help but be shocked. There were too many alien races from outer space. The entire starry sky in front of him was filled with the figures of these alien races. No wonder these guys could sweep the entire star region. Let's wait and see. At this time, Gu Fei had already sensed Gu Ling's existence. His daughter was near the primordial ancestral planet. This was a kind of bloodline reaction. There was a teleportation formation on the planet where Gu Fei was. This teleportation formation could send people to the 4 great ancient cities of the primordial ancestral planet. However, the teleportation formation on this planet had already been destroyed. The location of the teleportation formation was right below Gu Fei. The teleportation formation had already been reduced to ruins. A great war broke out. All the alien races came out and attacked the 4 great sky cities at the same time. For a moment, the sky was filled with shouts and countless cultivators were shocked. The blood of the alien races could corrode the power of the great protective formation. As time passed, the 4 great sky cities would not be able to hold on. The consequences would be dire. Kill! In Dongtian City, a door suddenly appeared on the light shield. Then, a group of soldiers charged out. Everywhere they passed, blood and flesh flew. The appearance of this divine army directly tore a gap in the countless extraterrestrial beasts. Once the killing formation of tens of thousands of Dongtian City's celestial soldiers was activated, even sages had to retreat. As the killing formation of tens of thousands of celestial soldiers swept across, countless alien beasts fell from the sky like dumplings. The scene was extremely bloody. However, no one sympathized with these xenorace experts because these xenorace experts were ferocious to the extreme. Everywhere they passed, all living beings in the starry sky would suffer calamity and be eaten by them. Compared to Dongtian City's attack, Nantian City, Northern City, and Western City all directly activated their great protective formations, allowing the alien beasts outside to attack wildly. Once the great protective formations of the 4 great sky cities were activated, they could communicate with the universe and draw in endless power. Mere alien beasts could not threaten the cultivators in the great sky cities at all. However, this time, there were extremely powerful exotic beasts among the exotic beasts. Whoosh! At that moment, an extremely sharp blood-colored light suddenly rushed out from the countless alien beasts and directly hit the light shield of Nantian City. The blood-colored light exploded. Although it did not corrode the light shield formed by the power of the Great Protective Formation, all the cultivators in the city were scared out of their wits. At that moment, among the countless alien races, beams of blood-colored light shot into the sky and fell toward Nantian City. The other 3 great sky cities did the same. The blood-colored light filled the sky and all fell toward the 4 great sky cities. Rumble! The 4 great sky cities kept shaking. Kacha! The sound of something breaking came from the sky above Nantian City. What? The thing that countless cultivators in the city feared the most had happened. Cracks appeared on the light shield. How could this be? Master, the great protective formation is going to be broken? On the square of Nantian City, among the countless cultivators, Guling, Yanner, Menglong, and Zhao Hao stood in a corner. They looked very inconspicuous among the countless cultivators. Cough, cough! Guling suddenly coughed a few times. Her face was a little sallow, as if she was injured. Master, are you okay? Yenna was shocked to see this. Damn the celestial humans! Menglong clenched his fists and gritted his teeth. It was the celestial humans who injured Guling. The celestial humans were a powerful race on the primeval ancestral planet. The reason why Guling was injured was because when she was training on the primeval ancestral planet, she fought with the young master of the celestial humans for a divine herb in a spiritual land. The young master of the celestial humans was no match for Guling and was forced to flee. However, the young master of the celestial humans called the masters of the clan to besiege Guling. In order to protect Yenner and the others, Guling was injured by the masters of the celestial humans. Are you okay, senior sister? Zhao Hao asked worriedly. There were also people from the celestial clan in the square of Nantian City, but at this time, everyone's attention was on the barbaric beasts outside, so those guys from the celestial clan didn't notice Guling. I'm fine. I can feel that father is nearby, Guling suddenly said. What? Zhao Hao and the others were surprised and overjoyed. Master is nearby? How is that possible? Zhao Hao said in disbelief. However, Guling was never one to brag. If she said that her master was nearby, then her master must be nearby. Humph, the celestial humans are in trouble now that her master is here. The fact that the celestial humans had injured Guling had touched Gu Fei's bottom line. To Gu Fei, family was more important than anything else. Boom! Chapter 42-21 Nantian City on the primordial ancestral star had been breached. With an earth-shattering bang, a large hole was blasted in the protective divine light above Nantian City, and countless alien races immediately rushed into the hole. While everyone was still in shock, hundreds of alien beasts had rushed into Nantian City. You're courting death! At this moment, a sneer came from the city lord's mansion. The next moment, countless sword lights rushed out of the mansion and instantly pierced through hundreds of alien beasts. The bodies of the alien beasts fell from the sky like dumplings. With just one blow, hundreds of alien beasts were killed instantly. This kind of sword principle cultivation was absolutely terrifying. Tianan City was an ancient city on the primordial ancestral star that guarded Tianan. It had existed for countless years, and the city lord, Emotiani, was extremely powerful. Emotiani also had a frightening identity. He was actually the sword master of the Nantian sword faction. The Tianan sword principle is really powerful! Someone could not help but exclaim when he saw this scene. The countless sword lights instantly pierced through the bodies of hundreds of alien beasts. Everyone felt the temperature around them drop. One sword light froze the world. At this time, Tianan City was in chaos. Countless cultivators rushed toward the city lord's mansion because the city lord could protect them. To become the city lord of an ancient city like Nantian City, he must have extraordinary abilities. The Nantian Sword faction was one of the strongest forces in the southern territory of the primordial ancestral star. Boom! At this time, a shocking sound came from the sky. Countless Tao patterns intertwined in the sky, and the big hole in the sky was repairing itself and gradually becoming smaller. Roar! The roars of the alien beasts were earth-shattering. Compared to the countless alien beasts, the hundreds of alien beasts that had just been killed were negligible. At this time, the overwhelming alien beasts rushed toward Nantian City. They wanted to rush into Nantian City and enjoy the blood and flesh. Countless cultivators in Nantian City were shocked when they saw this scene. Once the alien beasts came in, many people would die. Just as the alien beasts were about to rush into Tianan City through the big hole in the sky, a figure appeared in front of the big hole. That is... Everyone in the city looked at the figure in the sky in shock. That person was dressed in white and had a slender figure. He carried an ancient sword on his back and gave off an otherworldly aura. Could it be Emo Tianxiong from the Emo family? Someone in the city exclaimed. Emo Tianxiong was Emo Tianyi's younger brother. His cultivation level was close to his elder brother's. This Emo clan does have some ability. In a corner of the square in front of the city lord mansion, Guling said indifferently. She had been injured and hadn't fully recovered. Compared to Master, what is the Mo family? Zhao Hao said indifferently. Everyone nodded in agreement. There was no doubt about Gu Fei's strength. At this moment, Mo Tianxiong, who was in the sky, made his move. He waved his right hand in the void, and in the next moment, countless swords rushed out from his body. Each sword light was powerful enough to tear the void of heaven and earth. The next moment, countless wild beasts fell from the sky, most of them smashing into the city. At this time, the atmosphere in Tianan City was extremely tense. Mo Tianxiong had actually single-handedly blocked countless otherworldly beasts that were charging towards him. Everyone who saw this scene was stunned. However, soon, a huge beast claw directly reached out from the depths of the starry sky, directly falling towards Nantian City. Boom! With a loud noise, the beast claw directly slammed into the protective formation of Nantian City. In the next moment, countless cracks appeared on the light shield that enveloped the entire Nantian City, as if it could collapse at any time. The most powerful existence among the otherworldly beasts finally made a move. The attack just now was only a test. Mo Tianxiong was directly smacked down from the sky by the beast's claw. Boom! Mo Tianxiong directly smashed a pavilion as he fell from the sky, causing dust to fly everywhere. Let's go together and stop the beasts! At this moment, a middle-aged man walked out of the city lord mansion, staring at the otherworldly beasts in the sky with a gloomy expression. Kill! The dozen experts behind the middle-aged man did not hesitate, and immediately rushed up from behind him, roaring. Roar! At this moment, more than a dozen extremely powerful beast kings appeared in the sky. A brawny man who looked like a black iron tower directly collided with a beast king that was charging at him. In the next moment, the beast king was directly sent flying, and the sound of bones breaking could be heard from its body. With a boom, it directly smashed into the protective light shield like a cannonball, and then fell to the ground. What? Everyone was shocked. This brawny man's physical body was actually so strong that he could actually contend with the beast kings of the otherworldly beasts. At this moment, the brawny man was like a tiger that had entered a flock of sheep. All they saw was him smashing the head of a beast king into its chest with a palm strike, and with a shoulder strike, he directly sent another beast king flying with blood spurting from its mouth. Then, with a flip of his right hand, a ghost-head broadsword appeared in his hand. With a flash of the broadsword, two beast kings' heads flew up. In just an instant, in just 2 breaths, this brawny man had killed 4 major beast kings. This was simply a miracle. The beast kings of the otherworldly tribes were too weak in front of this brawny man. At this moment, The other Beast Kings were stunned by the combat strength displayed by the brawny man who looked like a black iron tower. How is this possible? The other Beast Kings stared at the brawny man in front of them, and their pupils involuntarily shrank. The combat strength displayed by the brawny man had far exceeded their expectations. Come over and die! The brawny man crooked his finger at the remaining Beast Kings and said coldly. A cold murderous intent emanated from his body, and the surrounding temperature rapidly dropped. Such a strong murderous nature! Countless cultivators in Tian City were inexplicably shocked. Only those demons who were numb to killing could erupt with such a strong murderous nature. This brawny man was definitely not a demon. Little guy! A wave of divine will was transmitted, and the brawny man's expression immediately changed. Although this brawny man was shocked, he knew that these Beast Kings were not to be trifled with. This brawny man was very strong, and when his strength reached a certain level, he could ignore the lack of a cultivation level. This was the so-called one strong man can defeat 10 skilled men. Roar! The remaining 7 Beast Kings roared at the same time and rushed toward the brawny man. At the same time, some of the Beast Kings directly opened their mouths and spat out poisonous flames at the brawny man. At this moment, the others retreated to the side and watched the battle from the side. Humph! The brawny man, Taijan, directly slashed with his saber. At this moment, an exotic Beast King covered in golden scales charged forward. Clang! The divine saber in Taijan's hand slashed the Beast King's body fiercely. He only felt a wave of power rebound, and the place where he was slashed did not even leave a mark. Taijan's saber slashed a second time. Clang! The saber in his hand actually broke into 2, but the Beast King was not injured at all. Everyone was inexplicably shocked. This Beast King was actually so strong that it was impervious to swords and spears. Even Taijan could not break through the scales on this Beast King's body. Taijan threw away the broken half of the saber in his hand, then clenched his 5 fingers and punched at the Beast King. Bang! Taijan's fist collided with the Beast King, producing a muffled sound like thunder. A powerful wave of yuan qi immediately spread out in all directions with the 2 experts as the center. Roar! The Beast King roared angrily, and an even more powerful wave of energy erupted from its body. At this moment, Taijan took a step forward and instantly caught up to the Beast King that was sent flying. He then punched out, and an explosive sound immediately rang out in the void. This was the sound produced by the rapid movement of the fist, which shook the void. It was enough to show how fast Taijan's punch was. Bang! A muffled sound was accompanied by the Beast King's miserable cry. With a boom, the Beast King was directly sent flying tens of thousands of feet away. Everyone was stunned by this scene. The wind has risen! At this moment, Mo Tianxiong rushed out. He used his finger as a sword and waved it 7 times without anyone noticing. 7 invisible sword qis blew past like a light breeze, attacking the 7 Beast Kings at the same time. The sword qis spread out tens of thousands of feet. How is this possible? Is he actually a quasi-supreme? An old man in the city murmured to himself in shock. If he knew that Mo Tianxiong's sword qis could spread out tens of thousands of miles when he went all out, he would probably be stunned. Mo Tianxiong was very strong, but the Beast Kings were not to be trifled with. His sword qis slashed at the Beast Kings, but they could not break through their defenses. He was the second strongest expert in Nantian City, but he could not do anything to these Beast Kings. Bang! 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 At this moment, heavy footsteps rang out, like a hammer pounding on everyone's hearts. The 9-foot-tall Mo Tianyi walked out of the city lord's residence. He strode forward, leaving a deep footprint on the ground with every step he took. He was like a huge mountain, pressing down on the Beast Kings in the sky. Chapter 42-22. The alien tribes had turned out in full force to invade the primordial ancestral star. Countless alien beasts covered the entire starry sky and surrounded the huge primordial ancestral star. The primordial ancestral star was so huge that an astonishing number of alien beasts would be needed to surround the entire primordial ancestral star. Gu Fei had been watching from afar. He was not in a hurry to make a move. In fact, as soon as he arrived near the primordial ancestral star, he had sensed an extremely powerful but extremely obscure aura in Nantian City. Gu Fei was once an Eternal Realm invincible master, so his perception was very strong. Of course, Gu Fei could sense the existence of the other party, but the other party could not sense the existence of Gu Fei. This was Gu Fei's advantage. At this time, Nantian City was finally breached by the alien tribes. The 12 alien beast kings made a strong appearance, but Taizhan alone killed 4 beast emperors. Of course, the 4 beast emperors killed by Taizhan were the weakest beast kings, not the strongest beast emperors. As for the beast emperor that Mo Tianxiong was fighting, it was the true king of beasts. Its entire body was covered in golden scales, giving it an astonishing defensive power. Even a sacred artifact would find it difficult to leave a mark on it. Boom! One of the 7 exotic beast kings, a scarlet-furred exotic beast king, let out a furious roar. A terrifying ball of divine fire erupted from its body. A saint fighting with this alien beast king was directly swallowed by the divine fire. The saint only let out a scream before he was burned to death. All the saints in the vicinity gasped when they witnessed this scene, and they hurriedly moved aside. This was a divine fire that could burn saints to death. The Crimson Flame Beast was one of the top experts among the 12 alien beast kings. As soon as it attacked, half the sky was burned red. It was extremely terrifying. The remaining 7 alien beast kings were extremely powerful. The 4 alien beast kings killed by Taizhan could not be compared to them. These 7 alien beast kings were the kings of beasts. As a result, the saints of Nantian City were unlucky. The Crimson Flame Beast, the Gold Essence Beast, and the Violent Ape were all capable subordinates of the otherworldly beast sovereign. The Outer Sky Beast was peerless and powerful. Since ancient times, it had always wanted to invade the primordial ancestral star and conquer the entire primordial ancestral star. It wanted to conquer the world and become invincible. However, the waters of the mortal dimension were extremely deep. Since ancient times until now, there seemed to be no one capable of becoming an invincible existence in the mortal dimension. At that moment, the 7 exotic beast kings forced the experts of Nantian City to retreat. The Crimson Flame Beast, in particular, was extremely ferocious. The Metal Essence Beast, on the other hand, had its eyes on Mo Tianxiong. It was hard to tell who would emerge victorious in a short period of time. The Violent Ape stared at Taizhan. Just as the saints of Nantian City retreated, Nantian City Lord Mo Tianyi finally made his move. Boom! With a wave of Mo Tianyi's hand, the Metal Essence Beast that was fighting Mo Tianxiong was immediately sent flying. Its body, which was surrounded by golden light, actually exploded. When the other exotic beast kings saw this scene, they were all stunned. The Metal Essence Beast was their boss. If even their boss was no match for it, then they were even less capable. "I'll send you on your way," Mo Tianyi said as he stretched out his right hand. A ball of divine light rushed out of his hand. With a bang, the ball of divine light exploded. 7 streaks of shocking sword chi directly pierced through the 7 exotic beast kings at an extremely fast speed. Mo Tianyi was the sword master of the Nantian sword sect. Most of his cultivation was based on that sword. At that moment, there was a flash of blood. The 7 exotic beast kings were all hit. One of the exotic beast kings screamed and fell from the sky. Just as the exotic beast king fell into the city, its corpse was snatched clean in the next moment. This was just one move from Mo Tianyi. Even so, the 7 exotic beast kings were still seriously injured. Roar! An earth-shattering roar came from the horizon. A huge figure appeared in the starry sky. The figure was much larger than the stars. The figure was quickly moving toward the primordial ancestral star. An extremely powerful pressure spread out in all directions. At that moment, only the Metal Essence Beast, the Roaring Flame Beast, and the Violent Ape escaped. The other exotic beast kings had already died under Emotiani's attack. Humph! You think you can escape? Emotiani sneered. He directly turned into an immortal sword light and soared into the sky. In an instant, he caught up with the metal essence beast. The next moment, the divine light directly passed through the metal essence beast's body. Then, there was nothing. Golden blood sprinkled from the sky. An unpleasant smell of blood filled the air. The immortal sword light fell from the sky and turned into a human figure. You're courting death! The gigantic beast directly slapped its palm towards Emotiani. A violent force surged down from that huge palm, causing the void to tremble. Humph! Emotiani once again turned into a sword light and soared into the sky. He directly pierced through the big hand and blood splattered. The giant beast was enraged to the extreme. Gu Fei had killed 12 of its divine generals one after another. Only the violent ape and the roaring flame beast were left. Its heart was bleeding. The beast Venerable of the foreign tribe finally attacked. The beast's shadow transformed into a human form. It was a young man with a head of white hair. With Emotiani at the center, the area within a radius of several thousand feet was a mess, as if it had been blown by a storm. The ground was covered with densely packed sword marks. The powerful sword she could not hurt the white-haired beast Venerable at all. Everything where the white-haired beast Venerable stood was destroyed. Apart from the beast Venerable, even the surrounding trees and rocks were smashed by the storm-like sword she. The two fellows were evenly matched, and neither could do anything to the other. It was very difficult to determine a winner. At that moment, Emotiani's heart was bleeding. These were the soldiers of Tian and that he had painstakingly trained, but today, they had been beaten to a pulp. Go to hell! Emotiani roared madly and attacked the white-haired beast Venerable again. Powerful sword wave power erupted, and every sword light tore through the void. However, a ball of divine light emerged from the white-haired beast Venerable's body and blocked all the sword lights. This is... Emotiani was inexplicably shocked. Even the spectators were dumbfounded. The white-haired beast Venerable had actually cultivated such a mystique. Wouldn't it be invincible in the world? It was unbelievable that someone as strong as Emotiani, the sword master of the Southern Sky Sword sect, could not break the defense of the white-haired beast Venerable. If they had not witnessed it with their own eyes, they would not have believed it. In particular, Emotiani's Sky Sword 10 Slaughters was a cultivation technique that he had created himself. It was a quasi-supreme cultivation technique. In the human realm, as long as the Supremes did not appear, it was already a top-notch cultivation technique. This was only the first move of the Sky Sword 10 Slaughters, and it was just a starting move, but its power was earth-shattering. However, such a powerful move could not do anything to the white-haired beast Venerable. This shocked and angered him. This was his strongest move. Gu Fei saw this scene from afar and shook his head. Emotiani's sword was still lacking. If he could comprehend it, he would be able to reach the sky in a single bound. He did not want to give Emotiani pointers on the sword. At that moment, the two experts started fighting again. This time, they were fighting with their lives on the line. However, the white-haired beast Venerable possessed a near-invincible mystique. No matter how Emotiani attacked, he could not break through the defense of the white-haired beast Venerable. The white-haired beast Venerable was already in an invincible position. Chapter 42-23. The white-haired beast sovereign transformed into his human form and fought against the city lord of Nantian City, Emotiani. The two experts represented the strongest existences in their respective domains. Emotiani was the number one swordsman in the southern part of the ancestral primitive planet. With his sword in hand, he could break almost all spells. However, in Gu Fei's opinion, Emotiani's swordsmanship cultivation was still lacking. Buzz! A sword chime came from Emotiani's body. A beam of sword light rushed out of his body and was grasped in his hand. The sword light dissipated, revealing a divine sword in Emotiani's hand. The divine sword was pitch black and shrouded in a layer of black light. The Black Crow Divine Sword? The cultivators of the older generation in Nantian City looked at the divine sword in Emotiani's hand in shock. As the sword master of the Nantian sword faction and a saint of swordsmanship, Emotiani naturally had a sword that belonged to him. Normally, Emotiani would not have had the opportunity to use the Black Crow divine sword, because he could kill his opponents without using it. However, things were different now. He was facing a heavenly beast sovereign, which was extremely powerful. He would not be able to defeat it without using a sword. At that moment, the white-haired beast sovereign pulled his hands in front of his chest. A battle spear immediately appeared in front of him. It was a red battle spear, and it exuded a terrifying murderous aura that made people's hearts palpitate. The white-haired beast sovereign stared at Emotiani fiercely. He wanted to burn this guy's bones and scatter his ashes. This was the guy who had killed the 10 beast kings under him. Only the violent ape king and the red flame beast king had survived. This was definitely a great loss for the white-haired beast sovereign. His power had been ruthlessly weakened. Compared to the other beast sovereigns, he was definitely at a disadvantage. Kill! The white-haired beast sovereign roared and attacked Emotiani. A beam of divine light immediately rushed out of the battle spear in his hand and pierced through Emotiani. Heaven's Sword 10 forms! Emotiani directly used his strongest killing technique. 10 beams of sword light shot up into the sky and converged into a peerless sword light that pierced through the white-haired beast sovereign. Wherever the sword light passed, the void was silently annihilated. The next moment, Emotiani's sword light collided with the white-haired beast sovereign's spear. The two extremely powerful forces collided and cancelled each other out. A terrifying energy storm immediately spread out. 2 figures were moving at high speed, and their powerful auras spread out in all directions. At this time, the other 3 city gates still had not been breached. The people guarding the 4 great heavenly gates were all peerless experts. If they were to be released, these 4 experts would definitely be overlord-level existences. At this moment, Gu Ling was finally found by the Mo family in Nantian City. This time, there was only a young man from the Celestial clan who came. This young man walked up to Gu Ling and the others and sized them up. "Obediently surrender, and I'll leave your corpse intact," the red-browed young man said faintly. His aura had merged with the entire world, as if he was the sky and the earth. "Humph! Get lost!" Gu Ling didn't even look at him. At this moment, the surrounding people dispersed. "Is that red-eyebrowed Saint Venerable?" Someone cried out in surprise. "Red-eyebrowed Saint Venerable is one of the strongest Saint Venerables in the Celestial clan. He's still alive!" An expert of the older generation muttered to himself. "A Saint Venerable?" Zhao Hao, who was next to Gu Ling, frowned. This guy in front of him was peerlessly powerful. Could it be that he couldn't escape from this calamity? Because Gu Ling was injured, Yenna was not a Saint Venerable yet, and neither was Meng Long or himself. They could only pray that their master, Gu Fei, would come soon. "Kill!" Red-eyebrowed Saint Venerable roared angrily. Without any hesitation, he directly punched at Gu Ling. A violent power spread from his fist, causing the void to tremble. This, Zhao Hao and the others were shocked. Red-eyebrowed Saint Venerable's punch actually brought the power of the entire world to crush them. They couldn't withstand it at all. Just as they were about to be killed by red-eyebrowed Saint Venerable's punch, a hand suddenly reached out from the side. This hand grabbed red-eyebrowed Saint Venerable's punch. What? Everyone was inexplicably shocked. That was a punch from a Saint Venerable. This punch from red-eyebrowed Saint Venerable was definitely not something that an ordinary saint could withstand. However, red-eyebrowed Saint Venerable's punch was directly grabbed by someone. How is this possible? Even red-eyebrowed Saint Venerable himself was shocked. The next moment, red-eyebrowed Saint Venerable was pulled into the air by that hand. He wanted to retract his fist, but he found that his fist couldn't move at all. Bam! Kacha! Countless fist shadows flashed, and red-eyebrowed Saint Venerable screamed in pain. In just an instant, he didn't even know how many punches he had taken. He only felt as if all the bones in his body had been smashed by the other party. "How dare you touch my family?" Go to hell! That person roared angrily and punched with all his might, directly hitting red-eyebrowed Saint Venerable's chest. Bam! With a muffled sound, red-eyebrowed Saint Venerable was actually beaten up and turned into a cloud of blood mist. A divine light shot up into the sky, trying to escape. It was red-eyebrowed Saint Venerable's primordial spirit. At red-eyebrowed Saint Venerable's level of cultivation, as long as his primordial spirit wasn't destroyed, he could recover even if his physical body was destroyed. However, the next moment, another big hand reached out from the side and grabbed red-eyebrowed Saint Venerable's primordial spirit. Don't kill me! At that moment, red-eyebrowed Saint Venerable, who was usually high and mighty, was begging for mercy. Humph! That person sneered and completely ignored him. Then, he clenched his fist and the divine light directly exploded. A dignified Saint Venerable had actually died just like that. Father! Guling looked at the figure in the sky. She was extremely excited. The person who had saved her from red-eyebrowed Saint Venerable's punch was her father, Gu Fei. Guling hadn't seen Gu Fei for so many years, so she naturally missed her family very much. Now, her father had finally come. At that moment, Gu Fei flew down from the sky and came before Gu Ling. Not bad, you're very good. Gu Fei could see through Gu Ling's cultivation. Gu Ling was actually a Saint Venerable, but there seemed to be something wrong with her aura. Greetings, Master! Zhao Hao hurriedly knelt down as soon as he saw Gu Fei. Greetings, Grand Master! Yen'er also knelt down. Greetings, Master! Meng Long was surprised and overjoyed. His master had finally come. All of you, get up! Gu Fei waved his big sleeves, and those who had knelt on the ground immediately stood up. Who injured you? Gu Fei's face immediately darkened. Who dared to injure his daughter? No matter who they were or how powerful they were dead meat. Injuring someone's family had already crossed Gu Fei's bottom line. Master, it was an old guy from the Celestial clan who injured senior sister. Before Gu Ling could say anything, Zhao Hao, who was standing at the side, spoke up. The Celestial clan? Gu Fei said angrily. It seemed that the Celestial clan didn't need to exist in this world anymore. I will definitely destroy the Celestial clan. This was the price of injuring Gu Ling. At that moment, two more figures walked out of the crowd and approached Gu Ling. Courting death. Chapter 42-24. The celestial human tribe had been hunting Gu Ling and her companions. They had almost been caught by a great ancestor of the celestial human tribe several times. A great ancestor of the celestial human tribe was extremely powerful. It was said that he was already a quasi-supreme master. If Gu Ling did not have the human emperor's divine mace that Gu Fei gave her, she would not have been able to escape. However, even though Gu Ling was already a holy master, it was not easy for her to use the human emperor's divine mace. Every time she used it, her pneuma would be damaged. The pneuma needed to use the human emperor's divine mace was too huge. The celestial human tribe dared to hurt his family, which made Gu Fei extremely angry. He cared about his family the most. He would kill anyone who dared to hurt them. You killed Qi Mei. You deserve to die. The two people who walked out of the crowd were two old men. One of them was tall and thin. His arms were so long that they almost touched the ground. The other one was short and fat, like a meatball. The one who spoke was the bamboo-like old man. Humph! You deserve to die. Gu Fei stared at the two oddly shaped guys with a murderous look. Do you think you are invincible after killing Qi Mei? The short and fat old man said coldly. Humph, I don't know if I am invincible, but I am more than enough to kill you. Gu Fei said coldly, staring at them. How arrogant you are! The tall and thin old man said disapprovingly. Why are you talking nonsense with this guy? The short and fat old man said. He took a step forward and came in front of Gu Fei in an instant. Then, he punched at Gu Fei's chest directly. It looked like an ordinary punch, but the entire world shook because of the short and fat old man's punch. Bang! Gu Fei did not dodge, and he directly met the attack with a punch. With a muffled sound, the two fists collided in an instant, and a violent wave of power immediately spread out from the two fists. What? When the short and fat old man saw that Gu Fei had actually blocked his punch, and this person was as still as a mountain, he was actually unable to move this guy. Even the lanky old man was taken aback. Who is this guy? To think that he could block a punch from the fat elder of the Sky Human clan! Lower your voice. If that short fatty hears you, you're dead. In the distance, there were people speaking softly. These two elders from the Celestial clan were quite well known. When these two walked together, it was definitely a strange sight. Roar! The fat man roared angrily. His entire body shook as he exerted his strength. Humph! Gu Fei sneered. With a shake of his right arm, a violent force immediately erupted from his body. Boom! In a muffled thunder-like sound, the two figures instantly separated, and instantly rushed to kill each other, the two great powerhouses fighting endlessly. However, very soon, the short and fat elder could not hold on any longer, and was forced to retreat by Gu Fei. Damn it! The lanky elder was both shocked and enraged. He pounced at Yifutian right away. The fat and skinny elders of the Celestial clan worked together. The power of their spells could actually be stacked, and the terrifying power of the divine path enveloped Gu Fei right away. The skinny elder turned into a gust of chilly wind, blowing at Gu Fei. Wherever the chilly wind passed, hair-like cracks appeared in the void. A chilly aura spread out, and a layer of white frost immediately appeared on the ground. The spectators all retreated in fear. Some unlucky ones were a bit too slow and were immediately frozen, turning into ice sculptures. Everyone was terrified. On the other hand, the short and stout old man turned into a bolt of cold lightning that shot towards Gu Fei in an earth-shattering manner. Interesting. Faced with such a powerful attack, Gu Fei's fighting spirit was completely stimulated. Boom! In the next moment, a ball of divine light emerged from his chest. This ball of divine light directly enveloped him, Gu Ling, and the others. The chilly wind blew, but it was directly blocked by the ball of divine light. No matter how the chilly wind raged outside, the void under the divine light remained extremely calm. The eternal light could smelt the essence of heaven and earth. The power of the chilly wind was directly refined and devoured. What? In the chilly wind, the elder of the Celestial clan turned pale with fright. He could feel his power rapidly draining away. What kind of spell was this? It could actually devour a cultivator's power. At this moment, the all-encompassing cold lightning bombarded Gu Fei's light shield. In the next moment, the destructive cold lightning dissipated in the void and was devoured by the eternal light. How is this possible? The short and fat elder exclaimed. Humph! Cold lightning and sinister wind are going to be out of luck. In Nantian City, some elders sneered. Cold lightning and sinister wind were half-step ancestors of the Celestial clan. They had already taken that step, but had yet to become true quasi-supremes. Only when they became quasi-supremes could they become ancestor-level existences. They were only half-step ancestors. While Cold Lightning and Sinister Wind of the Celestial clan were fighting with Gu Fei in Nantian City, Emo Tiani's battle with the white-haired beast sovereign was reaching its climax in the sky. Roar! The white-haired beast sovereign was fighting crazily. A terrifying pressure spread across the world, causing all living creatures to be extremely terrified. Boom! An enormous beast shadow emerged from the white-haired beast sovereign's body. A violent power burst out and directly sent Emo Tiani flying. Heavenly Sword 10 kills! Emo Tiani held the Black Crow Divine Sword in his hand. Endless Sword Chi rushed out of his body and turned into a terrifying sword light that could cut through the void, blocking the attack of the beast shadow. I am undefeatable. You are destined to die by my hands. The white-haired beast sovereign roared madly and the terrifying beast shadow pounced forward. The terrifying sword light hacked at the beast shadow and shattered it. Preposterous! Emo Tiani was truly shocked. The white-haired beast sovereign's divine skill is simply invincible. It can block any powerful attack, especially the power of the realm, which can block all attacks. Could it be that this animal has cultivated the legendary realm of nothingness? Emotiani was shocked. The legendary realm of nothingness could turn any attack into nothingness. Once the opponent's attack was turned into nothingness, they would naturally not be a threat to him. The beast shadow that the white-haired beast sovereign had transformed into instantly pounced in front of Emotiani. It extended its huge hand and directly grabbed at Emotiani. A black light rushed out of the beast shadow's sharp claws and pierced through the void like a peerless divine spear. Human and sword as one, 10 kills undefeatable. Chapter 42-25. Man and sword as one, 10 kills and invincible. Emotiani put his life on the line and directly displayed his strongest sword move. 10 sword moves combined into one, and an unprecedentedly powerful sword power appeared in the world. At that moment, Emotiani's figure had already disappeared. There was only a sword light left in the world, an almost immortal sword light. The terrifying sword power made the world lose its color. Invincible nothingness! The white-haired beast sovereign also became ruthless. He instantly disappeared into the void, without a trace. Emotiani was taken aback, but his sword power was all-pervasive. His sword was spread out, and the white-haired beast sovereign had nowhere to hide. Go to hell! Emotiani roared, and the terrifying swordlight directly strangled the white-haired beast sovereign. Wherever the swordlight passed, a pitch-black spatial crack was left in the void. Humph! The white-haired beast sovereign's cold laughter came from the void. Then, the two forces instantly collided. The swordlight that Emotiani had transformed into broke through the white-haired beast sovereign's domain of nothingness. However, Emotiani's power was rapidly draining, and the immortal swordlight quickly dimmed, which made him turn pale with fright. In the end, the swordlight that Emotiani had transformed into stopped, unable to truly break through the white-haired beast sovereign's domain of nothingness. However, the domain of nothingness that the white-haired beast sovereign claimed to be able to dissolve all magic powers was unable to completely dissolve the swordlight that Emotiani had transformed into. The two great experts were still evenly matched, and it was difficult for either to completely suppress the other. Rumble! The entire world was shaking. The power of such a peerless magic power was simply too shocking. Countless experts who were watching the battle and the surroundings retreated far away in fear. This was a battle between quasi-supreme experts. If they were affected, their bodies and souls would definitely be destroyed. If it wasn't for the formation protecting Nantian City, it probably would have been destroyed many times over. The pressure emitted by a quasi-supreme being was extremely powerful. Countless exotic beasts retreated far away, not daring to get close to them. In this way, the human clan in Nantian City had a chance to breathe. Boom! As the two powerhouses were locked in a stalemate, white-haired beast sovereign's nothingness domain exploded and Emotiani's swordlight instantly collapsed. Terrifying and monstrous power spread out in all directions. The void was directly annihilated, and a huge black hole appeared in the sky above Nantian City. This was an absolutely shocking scene. Even thousands of miles away, one could see the strange phenomenon in the sky above Nantian City. Everyone in Nantian City looked up at the sky, shocked to the extreme. These two fellows. Gu Fei was fighting the celestial clans Yin Feng and Ling Dian. When he saw the black hole in the sky, he couldn't help but frown. The mortal realm's space was far weaker than the primogenitor realms. The mortal realm was originally a perfect world, but after the great battle back then, the mortal realm was almost destroyed. From then on, the world was flawed, and it was difficult for a supreme being to be born again. No matter how heaven-defying an existence was, it was impossible to achieve the extreme Tao sovereign Tao fruit in the human realm. Cultivating to quasi-supremacy was already the limit. If one wanted to take that step towards supremacy, they would need to go to the heaven realm or other perfect great worlds. Now that there were no supreme beings, quasi-supremacy was invincible. Emotiani and the extraterrestrial beast sovereign were both quasi-supremacy, and both were known to be invincible. However, who was truly invincible would only be known after a battle. At this time, the two figures each flew back hundreds of thousands of miles. Tianyi was covered in blood, and some parts of his body were even bleeding. His sacred body was seriously injured. The white-haired beast sovereign didn't feel good either. He was almost beaten back to his original form. Even though he still maintained his human form, two black horns grew out of his head. Is this the rhythm of a lose-lose situation? The experts of the older generation looked at the two in shock. At this time, on the square of Nantian City, Gu Fei was faintly discernible around Yin Feng and Ling Dian like a phantom, leaving behind a series of afterimages. This guy, Yin Feng and Ling Dian, the two half-martial ancestors, finally realized how powerful Gu Fei was. What is Master doing? Zhao Hao was puzzled. With Master's cultivation, killing these two fellows was as easy as turning over his hand. Father is playing. Gu Ling smiled. How could these two old fellows be a match for Master? Meng Long said. In his opinion, Gu Fei was invincible. All right, I'm done playing. Gu Fei suddenly grinned. In the next moment, he struck out the almost invincible fist technique that he had yet to complete, the Eternal Fist. Bam! Gu Fei punched Yin Feng's right eye and sent him flying. Die! Ling Dian arrived, and countless destructive electric lights instantly drowned Gu Fei. Gu Fei opened his mouth and inhaled. The destructive electric lights that filled the sky frantically gathered in his mouth and were directly swallowed by him. A faint electric light immediately appeared on his body. What? Ling Dian was so shocked that he couldn't speak. Right at this moment, a fist rapidly enlarged in the half-martial ancestor's eyes. Bam! Gotcha! Gu Fei's fist fiercely smashed into Ling Dian's nose and directly crushed it. Blood flowed from his nose, making him look extremely miserable. Everyone was dumbfounded when they saw this scene. Ling Dian and Yin Feng were famous experts, yet they couldn't defeat this black-clothed young man even after joining forces. Everyone was extremely curious and wanted to know where Gu Fei came from. It's him? Someone looked at Gu Fei in shock. It was an old man, an expert from the Soaring Dragon Ancestral Star. Die! Yin Feng and Ling Dian, the two half-martial ancestors, were completely enraged by Gu Fei. They crazily attacked Gu Fei. However, Gu Fei's fist seemed to contain some kind of unimaginable power. Every punch he threw was able to directly hit the bodies of the two fellows. Soon, the two celestial clans' half-martial ancestors were smashed into pig heads by Gu Fei's fists. Ugh! Ling Dian was shocked, angry, and anxious. He opened his mouth and spat out a mouthful of blood. They were usually high and mighty. When had they ever been in such a sorry state? Moreover, it was done in public. It would not take long for the news of the two celestial clans' half-martial ancestors to spread throughout the cultivation world. I'll send you on your way, Gu Fei said loudly. In the next moment, his entire aura changed. A shocking, murderous aura erupted from his body, and the temperature of the entire area dropped rapidly. It was as if Gu Fei had turned into a peerless god of death in an instant. The murderous aura that erupted from his body was earth-shattering. Even a saint's expression would change upon seeing it. Chapter 42-26. The two half-ancestors of the celestial human clan, Yin Wind and Ling Dian, had a higher status than red-browed Saint Venerable. Moreover, red-browed Saint Venerable belonged to a different camp. The celestial human clan, which had existed for countless years, was the most ancient and powerful clan on the ancestral planet. They had once produced an invincible celestial being who could contend with an extreme grade supremacy. In such a large clan, it was unavoidable to plot against each other. Although the red-browed Holy Exalted was killed by Gu Fei, the two half-martial ancestors, Yin Feng and Ling Dian, did not pay much attention to it. However, the red-browed Holy Exalted was still a member of the primordial ancestral star's heavenly humans. Since Gu Fei had killed red-browed Saint Venerable, Yin Wind and Ling Dian naturally had to show up. However, at that moment, Yin Feng and Ling Dian, the two half-martial ancestors, were filled with regret. Never did they expect Gu Fei to be this powerful. Once Yin Wind and Ling Dian joined forces, even 10 red-browed Saint Venerables would not be a match for them. Because of this, Yin Wind and Ling Dian, the 2 half-ancestors of the celestial human clan, had dared to show up. They wanted to use Gu Fei's blood to establish their prestige. The celestial human clan had been living in seclusion for too long. They needed some thunderous means to remind the world of the celestial human clan's strength. However, they had picked the wrong person. The celestial human clan had injured Gu Ling and touched Gu Fei's reverse scale. Gu Fei would not show any mercy. Gu Fei opened his mouth and inhaled. The countless destructive electric lights around him were all sucked into his body. Ha ha! I should be able to recover some of my cultivation after absorbing your power. Gu Fei laughed loudly and directly pounced towards half-ancestor Yin Wind. What? Yin Wind was shocked. He turned into a gust of Yin Wind and retreated rapidly. However, Gu Fei was faster than him. He caught up to half-martial ancestor Yin Wind with a single step and punched him in the chest. Gu Fei had cultivated the 8 steps extreme speed, which allowed him to travel across the untainted land. He was so fast that he was almost invincible in the current world. Roar! Half-martial ancestor Yin Wind screamed. In the next moment, bang! With a bang, he exploded and turned into a bloody mist. Even his primordial spirit was scattered in the air. Gu Fei opened his mouth and inhaled. All of the Yin Wind half-martial ancestor's essence, energy, and spirit immediately gathered in his mouth and were swallowed by him. You! When half-martial ancestor Cold Lightning saw this, she was truly shocked. How is this possible? Someone cried out in alarm. Everyone was indescribably shocked. This black-clothed youth actually killed the celestial clan's Yin Wind half-ancestor with a single punch. This scene was just too unreal. One must know that he was a half-martial ancestor. Half-martial ancestors were existences that surpassed wholly exalted. However, they were not half-utmost exalted. Half-martial ancestors possessed cultivations between wholly exalted and half-utmost exalted. Whoosh! Half-martial ancestor Cold Lightning turned into a bolt of lightning and soared into the sky in an attempt to escape. His lightning escape technique was extremely fast, but it was also one of the best. Humph! Gu Fei sneered. He stomped on the ground and instantly soared into the sky, catching up to and surpassing half-martial ancestor Cold Lightning. Go down! Gu Fei stretched out his right hand and pressed down on the bolt of lightning that soared into the sky. Rumble! The air shook and a huge palm appeared in the sky above Nantian City. It actually suppressed the bolt of lightning that was rushing up from below. The bolt of lightning dissipated and half-martial ancestor Cold Lightning's figure appeared, smashing heavily onto the ground. Everyone watching the battle was shocked to the extreme. Was this person a half-utmost exalted? Only a half-utmost exalted could suppress a half-martial ancestor with one hand. At this moment, the mountain-like palm was still pressing down. Everywhere it passed, the void was annihilated. No, don't kill me! Half-martial ancestor Cold Lightning was scared out of his wits. The power that suppressed him from the sky was too strong. He could not even stand up, let alone escape. He was pressed to the ground and could not move at all. He only had one thought in his mind, and that was not to die. It's too late! Gu Fei had no intention of stopping at all. Boom! As the huge palm fell, the entire Nantian city shook fiercely. Half-martial ancestor Cold Lightning was smashed into mincemeat by Gu Fei's palm. Half-martial ancestor Cold Lightning's power was also completely devoured by Gu Fei. After devouring the power of 2 half-martial ancestors, Gu Fei's aura became even more powerful. Gu Fei's body shook violently, and a terrifying divine path aura erupted from his body. The vast and mighty power waves shook heaven and earth. His cultivation directly broke through to the holy venerate realm. If people knew that Gu Fei had killed 2 half-martial ancestors even though he was not a holy venerate, it would definitely cause a stir in the entire primordial ancestral planet. This was the power of the eternal martial body. He could challenge existences of a higher realm and kill half-martial ancestors with one hand. Of course, given his previous cultivation, he would probably have been tortured badly if he had encountered a quasi-supreme. Not bad! However, he dared to fight a quasi-supreme now. This guy is crazy. He actually dared to kill someone from the Celestial clan. Everyone in the square was dumbfounded when they saw Gu Fei. There were many people from the Celestial clan in the city, but who would dare to stand out at this time? Just as Gu Fei killed half-martial ancestor Cold Lightning with one palm, the battle between Mo Tianyi and the white-haired beast sovereign erupted again. The extremely violent power waves shook heaven and earth. The swordlight that rushed out of Mo Tianyi's body illuminated the entire world. Given his sword principle cultivation, he could indeed be considered the number one person on the primordial ancestral planet. However, in Gu Fei's eyes, this sword principle cultivation was nothing. The heavenly beast sovereign was also extremely tyrannical. The two powerhouses were evenly matched. However, just a moment ago, a powerful devouring force suddenly appeared between the heaven and earth. In the next moment, countless exotic beasts flew toward the devouring power like dumplings. Their essence, energy, and spirit were directly devoured, and they immediately died. This was a terrifying scene. Countless exotic beasts were like moths flying into a flame, rushing toward the black hole that suddenly appeared on the primordial ancestral planet. Roar! The white-haired beast sovereign almost went crazy when he saw this. His eyes turned red as he desperately tried to force Mo Tianyi to retreat. Go to hell! The white-haired beast sovereign gritted his teeth and emitted a terrifying divine flame. Then, he directly charged toward the huge black hole below. He wanted to perish together with Gu Fei. Humph! Gu Fei used the divine steps and displayed the world's fastest speed. He directly rushed out of the square of Tianan City. The devouring power that erupted from his body could devour heaven and earth. It was extremely terrifying. Chapter 42-27. After Gu Fei killed the Celestial clan's half-martial ancestor, Ling Dian, with a single palm strike, he devoured Ling Dian's cultivation and finally recovered to the Holy Venerate realm. Boom! The shackles in Gu Fei's body were broken. An extremely terrifying aura of the divine path emerged from his body. In the next moment, a monstrous devouring power emerged from his body. This is... Gu Fei was shocked, but he quickly understood what was going on. His cultivation had just recovered to the Holy Venerate level, so he needed a huge amount of Yuan Qi to fill up his empty martial body. As such, his martial body automatically devoured the essence Qi of the world around him. This was a plundering devouring. Countless cultivators in the surroundings flew toward Gu Fei involuntarily. They were about to be devoured by Gu Fei. Even Gu Ling and the others were struggling to hold on. Gu Fei did not want to kill all the living beings in Nantian City to refine his Holy Venerate martial body. He looked up into the sky and saw that the starry sky was densely packed with exotic beasts. An idea came to him, and he directly shot up into the sky and charged toward the starry sky. At that moment, the devouring power coming from his body became even stronger. The surrounding void could not withstand it, and pitch-black spatial cracks appeared. This is... Mo Tianyi and the white-haired beast sovereign were shocked to see Gu Fei. Essence Qi from all directions gathered toward Gu Fei in a frenzy. His martial body had just recovered to the Holy Venerate level, so the amount of spirit Qi he needed was absolutely massive. At that moment, countless exotic beasts were enveloped by the devouring power coming from Gu Fei's body. They all flew toward Gu Fei. When they were about 1,000 feet away from Gu Fei, they exploded and turned into clouds of blood mist. The essence Qi contained in the exotic beasts was all devoured by Gu Fei. As each exotic beast exploded into a cloud of blood mist, a beam of divine light rushed out of the blood mist and rushed toward Gu Fei, entering his body. What is he doing? Diabolism! This is the behavior of diabolism! Using the lives of all living beings as the price to increase one's own cultivation was a great taboo in any world. This was because such existences would do anything to increase their cultivation. This would incite public anger. The people of the demonic path were unscrupulous. They viewed all living beings as ants and harvested their life essence energy to increase their cultivation. Therefore, demons were the common enemy. Now, the method Gu Fei used was indeed shocking. He could actually plunder the life force and essence of living beings to increase his cultivation. This made everyone's hearts palpitate. At this moment, countless otherworldly beasts were pulled towards Gu Fei by the devouring power that emanated from his body. "How dare you!" The white-haired sovereign beast's eyes turned red. These were his subordinates, his army. As the sovereign beast of outer space, this army of beasts was like a sharp weapon in his hands. They helped him attack cities and seize territory, establishing a huge territory. "Ha! Why wouldn't I dare? What can you do to me?" Gu Fei laughed. At this time, his cultivation had already recovered to the saint's sovereign realm. In the human world, where the power of heavenly punishment existed, he no longer had to worry about anyone. "Go to hell!" The white-haired sovereign beast was enraged. A terrifying beast shadow emerged from his body and pounced directly at Gu Fei. The entire void of the world was directly shattered by the beast shadow's pounce, turning into a destructive storm that swept towards Gu Fei. Humph! Gu Fei waited until the beast shadow was in front of him before he clenched his right hand and punched out. Boom! Like a heavenly drum beating, Gu Fei's fist directly smashed into the head of the charging beast shadow. The violent impact directly shattered the beast shadow's head. However, Gu Fei was as still as a mountain. Immediately afterward, Gu Fei's right arm shook and the entire beast shadow was directly shattered, dissipating in the void. The terrifying destructive storm that swept towards him was also punched out a huge hole. What? The white-haired sovereign beast was shocked to see this. In the next moment, something even more shocking happened. He saw that Gu Fei actually devoured all the scattered essence, including the terrifying destructive storm. He simply didn't let go of any essence of the world. Could this guy be the legendary heaven-devouring beast? The white-haired sovereign beast muttered to himself. At this time, countless otherworldly beasts madly roared, trying to break free from the devouring power. However, it was all in vain. Countless otherworldly beasts exploded around Gu Fei and turned into a blood mist. Their essence, qi, and spirit were completely devoured by Gu Fei. As countless otherworldly beasts were crushed by the devouring power that came out of Gu Fei's body, they were torn apart and turned into blood mist. The entire void was filled with a thick smell of blood. The white-haired sovereign beast's magic power was broken, and he also suffered a great impact. A trace of blood seeped out of the corner of his mouth. "Your opponent is me!" Amo Tianyi roared and directly controlled the Black Crow Divine Sword to attack the white-haired sovereign beast. Buzz! The sound of the sword was heard and the sword light swept across the sky, directly falling towards the white-haired sovereign beast's head. Swoosh! The white-haired sovereign beast directly left an afterimage on the spot, and his real body had already moved thousands of meters away. Amo Tianyi's peerless sword light followed the white-haired sovereign beast like a shadow. He had already locked onto the white-haired sovereign beast. At this time, no one made a move to stop Gu Fei. The devouring power that came out of his body became even stronger, and that power shrouded the entire starry sky. In this way, the otherworldly beasts were doomed. Countless otherworldly beasts, densely packed, all rushed towards Gu Fei. These beasts were not attacking Gu Fei, but they were all involuntarily flying towards the terrifying figure. Gu Fei was like a bottomless black hole, devouring the otherworldly beasts' lives. Without any suspense, countless otherworldly beasts fell in groups, and in large groups, all of them collapsed in the void. In the end, there was not a single otherworldly beast within 100,000 miles of the starry sky. Seeing this scene, countless cultivators in Nantian City were directly dumbfounded. They were all dumbfounded, and their eyeballs almost fell to the ground. In Nantian City, there was a deathly silence. At this time, an extremely huge ball of blood appeared in the sky. It was formed by the blood of countless otherworldly beasts, and a peerless and powerful aura of the divine path spread from the ball of blood. Billions of otherworldly beasts became the source of Gu Fei's power. An opening appeared in the formation surrounding the primordial ancestral planet, and the otherworldly beasts within 100,000 miles of Nantian City were directly killed. However, this was only the battle situation in the south of the primordial ancestral planet. In the east, west, and north, there were still countless otherworldly beasts blocking the three main entrances to the primordial ancestral planet. The battle was still going on. Roar! Chapter 42-28. No one had expected Gu Fei to devour the yuan qi of billions of exotic beasts all by himself and resolve Nantian City's crisis. At that moment, a huge ball of blood floated in the air. Destructive bolts of lightning danced around the ball of blood, and an unimaginably powerful ripple of energy spread out from the ball of blood. Everyone was inexplicably shocked. No one could imagine how powerful the person who devoured billions of exotic beasts was. Those were billions of exotic beasts, all of the white-haired beast sovereign's assets. It was a monstrous force that could seal off the entire star region and conquer the entire ancestral star. However, this force was stopped right there. Roar! While everyone was shocked, the white-haired beast sovereign seemed to have gone mad. He revealed his true form and charged at Gu Fei. It was the most direct attack. The beast that the white-haired beast sovereign had transformed into crashed into the ball of blood. The next moment, the ball of blood exploded. Amidst the boundless blood light, a figure appeared. His right hand pressed on the beast sovereign's head. Although the white-haired beast sovereign was powerful and his physical body was extremely tough, it was a pity that his opponent was Gu Fei. Therefore, the guy was doomed. Mo Tianyi and the others were shocked to see Gu Fei stop the white-haired beast sovereign's attack with one hand. It can fight against a quasi-supreme. Not bad. Gu Fei tested the extent of his strength. The white-haired beast sovereign was a quasi-supreme. It was extremely powerful, but he had stopped it with one hand. Roar! The white-haired beast sovereign kept roaring and exerted all his strength. He knew that no matter how hard he tried, he could not shake Gu Fei. Buzz! At that moment, a tremor came from the white-haired beast sovereign's body. In the next moment, Gu Fei felt the heavens and earth shake, and then he realized that he'd entered another space. The power of a domain? Gu Fei said indifferently. Little guy, I'm going to turn you into nothingness. The white-haired beast sovereign's voice came. Turn me into nothingness? When Gu Fei heard this, he didn't think much of it. Ever since he started cultivating, he had experienced countless life and death tribulations, and he was still alive and well. A formidable power of nothingness erupted and the void around Gu Fei turned into nothingness. However, Gu Fei was not affected in the slightest. What? The white-haired beast sovereign was shocked. He didn't believe it. He activated the nihility domain again, but the result was the same. However, he now knew why Gu Fei wasn't affected. Divine light surged from Gu Fei's body, blocking the power of the void. What kind of divine ability is this? The white-haired beastman said through gritted teeth. Eternal! Gu Fei only uttered these two words. In the next moment, an imperishable light shot out from his chest and pierced through the void domain. Then, the entire domain of nothingness began to crumble. Ever since he mastered the nihility domain, no one had been able to break it. Today, it was completely broken. The white-haired beast sovereign couldn't accept this. The white-haired beast sovereign's domain crumbled completely, and his beast body also crumbled in the void. Without hesitation, Gu Fei devoured the white-haired beast sovereign's power. This was the power of a quasi-supreme being. The moment this power entered his body, he could feel the power in his body rising rapidly. Buzz! The 9 revolutions technique was activated. A tremor came from Gu Fei's body as if something had been broken. In the next moment, 9 Dao patterns appeared on Gu Fei's body. The beast sovereign of a generation had fallen just like that. To help Gu Fei, he had lost his life. Master! So powerful! In the public square of Nantian City, Zhao Hao raised his head and looked at the scene. His eyes flickered. Father's cultivation. Gu Ling frowned when she realized Gu Fei's cultivation. It should be noted that her father was almost invincible in the human realm when she set foot on the ancient road of the human race. Yen and Meng Long also looked at the scene in the sky in shock. Is the primordial ancestral planet going to change? Some of the old-timers stared at the extremely powerful figure in the sky with complicated expressions on their faces. If Gu Fei had fought for the primordial ancestral planet, many people would have died. At that moment, Gu Fei sat cross-legged in the void. Divine sounds of the great path came from his body. Everyone was shocked to the extreme. Some people felt as if they had been enlightened. The shackles of their cultivation were immediately broken, and they broke through to a new level, gaining new power. Even the saints benefited a lot. Soon, Gu Fei's cultivation completely stabilized. A low-level holy master? Gu Fei smiled. He was very satisfied with this result. So what if he was a low-level holy master? He could still kill a quasi-supreme patriarch with one punch. Back then, the first demon ancestor had been too ruthless. At the cost of his life, he had sent Gu Fei into this cycle of reincarnation and stripped him of his invincible cultivation. Even Gu Fei's eternal body was almost completely stripped of its eternal power, turning him into a mortal body. Fortunately, Gu Fei's heart and sternum still contained eternal divinity, which allowed him to gradually recover his eternal body. However, it was not easy to completely restore the eternal body. Even so, Gu Fei's martial body was stronger than a quasi-supreme divine body. Moreover, his martial body had eternal and indestructible divinity. Gu Fei stopped and stood up. He took a step forward and instantly returned to the square of Nantian City. It's time to settle the score with the Celestial Clan. Gu Fei came in front of his daughter, Gu Ling, and with a wave of his sleeve, he took Gu Ling and the others into his inner world. He sent a voice transmission to Yen'er. Soon Yen'er came out and brought Gu Ling and the others into the valley. At this time, Gu Fei arrived in front of the southern heavenly gate on the square. There was only one stone gate, but it was the passage to the primordial ancestral planet. After the primordial ancestral planet's protective formation was activated, everyone, including quasi-supreme martial artists, could only enter the primordial ancestral planet through the 4 heavenly gates. What is he doing? At this time, countless eyes were staring at Gu Fei. This was a peerless and ruthless person who had single-handedly destroyed billions of exotic beasts. Seeing his arrival, everyone felt uneasy. They saw Gu Fei put his right hand on the stone gate and closed his eyes, as if he was sensing something. Then, under everyone's dumbfounded gaze, Gu Fei pushed open the southern heavenly gate and walked in, disappearing into the southern heavenly gate. Even Motiani, the city lord of Nantian City, could not believe that Gu Fei had pushed open the southern heavenly gate. This was too easy. It was like a dream. Motiani had tried to open the southern heavenly gate when it was closed, but he had failed in the end. Oh no! At this time, the people of the Celestial Clan in the city suddenly came to their senses. Gu Fei had entered the primordial ancestral planet to settle the score with the Celestial Clan. Chapter 42-29. Nantian City's crisis was temporarily resolved thanks to Gu Fei's intervention. However, the entire primordial ancestral planet was still in a state of turmoil. Eastern Heaven Gate, Western Heaven Gate, and Northern Heaven Gate were all surrounded by the otherworldly beasts. This time, the white-haired beast sovereign was not the only one involved. It was impossible to conquer the entire primordial ancestral planet with just one beast sovereign. On the surface, the 4 beast sovereigns had joined forces to attack the primordial ancestral planet. However, who knew how many beast sovereigns were involved? Boom! Following a loud noise, Eastern Heaven City was breached. The city lord of Eastern Heaven City died in battle and the Eastern Heaven Gate fell into the hands of the Sky Serpent Beast Sovereign. Western Heaven City and Northern Heaven City were still struggling. Gu Fei did not care too much and directly entered the primordial ancestral planet. At the moment, all the major forces on the primordial ancestral planet were preparing for war. The atmosphere was extremely tense. After all, if the otherworldly beasts were to invade the primordial ancestral planet, many people would die. In the southern region of the primordial ancestral planet, the celestial clan leader was furious in the ancestral land of the celestial humans. They had lost red-browed Saint Venerate and 2 half-ancestors, Yin Feng and Ling Dian, in one day. This was an irreparable loss for the celestial humans. The deaths of Yin Feng and Ling Dian, the 2 half-martial ancestors, nearly drove the celestial clan's patriarch mad. Outside the ancestral land of the celestial humans was an ancient city called Celestial City. In the new moon tower of Celestial City, a man was drinking to his heart's content while facing the moon. The number 1 private room of the new moon tower was indeed worthy of its reputation. From here, one could overlook the entire city and raise a glass to the moon. However, in the large private room that could seat over 10 people, there was only a black-robed man drinking by himself. It seemed a little cold and cheerless. At this moment, footsteps were heard from outside. A group of people had arrived. Then, a man opened the door and walked in. "What's the matter?" Gu Fei asked with a frown. The person who came in was a waiter. "Well, sir, can you change to another private room?" the waiter said embarrassedly. "Nope." Gu Fei rejected immediately. Bang! At this moment, the person outside kicked the door open and strode in. "I told you to scram, yet you don't know how to appreciate my kindness. You're courting death." The leader of the group was a youth who was incomparably arrogant. Behind this youth were 5 or 6 similarly youthful cultivators. "Young Master Chu, why bother with this guy? Just blast it away," a young man said disdainfully. "That's right, we can't let this guy who came out of nowhere ruin our mood of drinking and admiring the moon," another young man said as he looked at Gu Fei with disdain. "Hurry up and scram." "Do you really want us to ask you to scram?" a short and fat young man said coldly. "Are you done?" At this time, Gu Fei raised his head and coldly glanced at these people. A bunch of good-for-nothings. If he had not stopped the rare beasts outside the South Heaven Gate, the southern region of the primordial ancestral planet would have long turned into azure hell. "What kind of attitude is that? How dare you look down on us?" The short and fat young man glared at them as a murderous intent burst out from his body. "Kill him and feed him to the wild dogs in the mass grave outside the city," the leader of the group, young Master Chu, said with a gloomy face. "Hee, all right, young Master Chu." The short and fat young man revealed a ferocious expression. "Humph!" Gu Fei was enraged. It seemed like these guys were not kind people. They actually treated human lives like grass and killed without hesitation. That's too cold-blooded. Fortunately, it was him today. If it was someone else, wouldn't they be beaten to death and fed to the wild dogs in the mass grave? "Kid, you're unlucky today. Accept your fate." The fat young man walked forward with a hideous smile. "Accept my fate?" Gu Fei smiled, his pearly white teeth seemingly glowing. "You can still smile at a time like this. I'm really impressed," a young man said with a smile. At this time, the fat young man took out a soft sword and slashed at Gu Fei's neck. In the next moment, the fat young man's smile froze on his face. Everyone looked at Gu Fei in shock. They saw that Gu Fei actually pinched the fat young man's sword. The leader of the group, young Master Chu, saw this and his face became solemn. In the next moment, Gu Fei stretched out his finger and flicked the sword. The divine weapon directly shattered and the fragments shot towards young Master Chu and the others. The first to bear the brunt was the fat young man holding the sword. Puff! The fat young man's body was directly pierced by the fragments, and blood splashed. The power of those fragments was so great that even young Master Chu and the others couldn't avoid it. They were directly shot and screams sounded. The smell of blood filled the air. "Do you know who I am? How dare you hurt me?" Young Master Chu, who was shot in the left chest by a fragment, gritted his teeth and said, Among the people present, he was the only one who could stand. The others had all fallen and were struggling on the ground in pain. Can't withstand a single blow. Gu Fei shook his head. These guys were only good at talking, but they didn't have any real ability. You! Young Master Chu was shocked and angry. The other party simply ignored him and didn't take him seriously at all. You're in trouble! At this moment, a voice rang in Gu Fei's head. In the next moment, a middle-aged man walked in from outside. He is the young master of the Chu clan. The Chu clan is the vassal of the celestial clan on the primordial ancestral planet. The middle-aged man continued to explain. It turned out that this young Master Chu was so arrogant. He had the entire Chu clan behind him. The Chu clan was the most powerful clan under the celestial clan. Young Master Chu was arrogant and didn't take anyone seriously at all. But now, young Master Chu had to admit that Gu Fei was really strong. He was so strong that he couldn't even imagine it. Even if the clan leader of the celestial clan is here, I will kill him as well, Gu Fei said disapprovingly. Hearing Gu Fei's words, the middle-aged man and young Master Chu were inexplicably shocked. I'll send you on your way. After saying that, Gu Fei waved his hand. In the next moment, young Master Chu's entire body exploded and turned into a cloud of blood mist that dissipated into the void. The insufferably arrogant young Master Chu didn't even have the chance to let out a scream before he died. You're courting death. You can't blame others. Gu Fei shook his head. Killing these good-for-nothings really didn't give him any sense of accomplishment. You! Seeing that Gu Fei really killed young Master Chu, the middle-aged man was also stunned. Then, he turned around and left. At this moment, the waitress of the New Moon brothel was already trembling in fear. She looked at Gu Fei in horror. Gu Fei didn't let these good-for-nothings go. He stood up and stomped all of them to death. This? Chapter 42:30. Young Master Chu was dead. Young Master Huang was also dead. Young Master Shi's head had been crushed. When this news spread out, the entire New Moon Pavilion was shaken. Countless cultivators were shocked to the extreme. Young Master Chu was the youngest son of the Chu clan's current clan lord. He relied on the Chu clan and the celestial clan's power to run amok in Heaven City. Young Master Huang was the son of the Huang clan, which was only slightly weaker than the Chu clan. The Huang clan's influence in Celestial City wasn't small either. Young Master Shi came from the Stone clan, a superpower on the ancestral primal planet. The Stone clan had once produced a supreme. It was said that the Stone clan's progenitor was a creature born from a primal chaos divine stone before the primordial chaos was formed. Young Master Shi's status was even higher than young Master Chu's. Young Master Chu had wanted to entertain him, but who would have thought he would run into Gu Fei? Young Master Shi's death was truly unjust. News of young Master Shi's death was sent back to the Stone clan by his servants. One of the Stone clan's ancestors was enraged and immediately left for Celestial City. The Chu clan, the Huang clan, and the other native powers of Celestial City reacted immediately. Chu Tianquang, the Chu clan's leader, led his men to the New Moon Pavilion. Young Master Chu was Chu Tianquang's most beloved son. Now that he had died in the New Moon Pavilion, the place couldn't escape responsibility. Man, come out and accept your death! Chu Tianquang stood in the air, glaring at the first sky pavilion with a dark expression. Why don't you come in and accept your death? The voice came from the room. What? Chu Tianquang was enraged. The Chu clan's higher-ups behind him were even more enraged. How dare this guy say such a thing? Did he think he was Di Jiutian? Or Jueshen Ling? Di Jiutian was one of the strongest existences on the ancestral primal planet. Some said that he was a supreme who sealed his cultivation. Others said that he had a heaven-defying constitution. Though he was only a quasi-supreme, he was no different from a supreme. Jueshen Ling was said to be able to compete with Di Jiutian. Countless cultivators wanted to know who was stronger between the two. However, the two of them had never met each other before, much less fought against each other. Boom! Chu Tianquang couldn't take it any more and directly attacked. A dragon shadow rushed out from his body and pounced towards the private room Gu Fei was in. Humph! Right at this moment, a cold laugh sounded out from within the new moon brothel. Boom! The huge dragon that was pouncing towards Gu Fei's private room exploded in the void, and a layer of light appeared in the void. New moon brothel master, what do you mean by this? Chu Tian roared furiously. What do I mean? I want to ask you, what do you mean? Do you want to tear down my new moon pavilion? A charming voice came out from the building. This voice was full of temptation, as if it could hook a person's soul. It had a kind of demonic nature to it. My son died here. So what if I tear down your new moon brothel? Chu Tian roared. Your son is too much of a bastard. If he's dead, then so be it. The voice continued. What did you say? Chu Tianquan was instantly enraged upon hearing this. Isn't it? Said the voice. Young Master Chu had been running amok in Heaven City for a long time. Chu Tianquang had heard about it and knew of his youngest son's misdeeds. However, he didn't interfere too much. Damn it! Chu Tianquang almost went crazy. Moreover, this new moon brothel isn't a place where you can act presumptuously. The voice of the owner of the new moon brothel wasn't very loud, but it reached the ears of everyone present. The higher-ups of the Chu clan couldn't help but be shocked when they heard this. This new moon brothel really wasn't a place where they could act presumptuously. Humph, this kid killed young Master Shi. I don't believe he can hide in there forever. Chu Tianquang sneered. The Stone Clan was one of the strongest cultivation clans on the primordial ancestral planet. Gu Fei killing young Master Shi was definitely a heaven-defying matter. The owner of the new moon brothel also fell silent. At this time, everyone was walking towards the new moon brothel. Who is that? How dare he kill the Chu clan's playboy? Someone exclaimed. That little guy from the Chu clan finally kicked an iron plate. The people of Heaven City were shocked and overjoyed. Some people were shocked by young Master Shi's death. At this moment, in the number 1 private room of the new moon brothel, Gu Fei was drinking wine by himself while admiring the moon. It was as if nothing had happened. The head of the Chu clan, Chu Tianquang, didn't dare to attack the new moon brothel. Go invite Elder Yi of the Celestial clan. Chu Tianquang looked at the figure inside the new moon brothel and gritted his teeth. Although he didn't dare to touch Gu Fei or act presumptuously before the new moon brothel, some people dared. The Celestial clan was no weaker than the Stone clan. Yes, family head. Someone accepted the order and left. Soon, a ray of divine light charged out from the city lord's mansion toward the new moon brothel. The divine light instantly arrived before Gu Fei. The next moment, the divine light dissipated and a figure appeared before Master Void. Without any suspense, even if Gu Fei and the divine light were to be swept by it, they would also dissipate into the void and disappear without a trace. A powerful aura spread out from the figure, and everyone's hearts palpitated. It was an old man dressed in white. He was tall and slender. When he was young, he must have been a handsome man. Even though he was old, he still exuded an otherworldly aura. Who killed young Master Chu? The old man asked calmly, and his expression became very serious. Elder Yi, it's that brat. Someone pointed at the figure in the new moon brothel. New moon brothel master, hand over the person. Elder Yi stared at the figure in front of him and a cold, murderous aura emanated from his body. Yi Shao, if you want the person, then let's see if you have the ability. The existence inside the new moon brothel said. Yi Shao was the ruler of the Celestial clan in Heaven City. He was the city lord of Heaven City. At this moment, the owner of the new moon brothel was shocked and angry. The owner of the new moon brothel didn't even put Yi Shao in his eyes, which shocked everyone inside. Yi Shao and Chu Tianquang couldn't do anything to the owner of the new moon brothel right now. At this moment, a ray of divine light descended from the sky and landed on the transfer array. A figure appeared on the transfer array. Who killed my inheritor? A wave of divine sense immediately surged out from the old man's body, enveloping the entire Heaven Man City. Ha ha, you're dead. Chu Tianquan laughed. That is. Yi Xiao frowned. Inside the new moon brothel, Gu Fei was still calm. Chapter 42-31. The old ancestor of the stone race had arrived. This shocked everyone. A terrifying aura instantly enveloped the entire Heaven Man city. All the cultivators in the city were terrified to the extreme, a fear that came from the depths of their souls. Haha, now that the Stone Clan's ancestor is here, this little bastard is dead for sure. The Celestial Clan's lord, Yi Xiao, laughed heartily. The Stone Clan's ancestor is a quasi-supreme, Chu Tianquan said in a low voice. Young Master sure had the support of a big shot. Otherwise, Chu Tianquan wouldn't have sent his youngest son to entertain young Master Sure. However, no one could have imagined that young Master Sure would be killed in his own territory. Even his most beloved son was killed by that person. At this moment, Chu Tianquan had already used all the resources he had to find out who Gu Fei was. He wanted to know who killed his son. One should know that this was the entrance to the Celestial Clan's ancestral land. Anyone who dared to make a move here must have a great background. Otherwise, who would dare to come here to die? The Celestial Clan was one of the strongest clans on the primordial ancestral planet, capable of contending against the Stone Clan. By then, the defensive arrays of Sky Human City had already been activated and a terrifying power enveloped the entire city. Not even a fly could escape from Sky Human City at that very moment. Tower Master Distant Moon, get out here or I'll kill you too! An old voice came from afar. The next moment, a figure appeared in the sky above the new moon tower, overlooking the entire place. This was a domineering old man. The air around this old man was surrounded by visible lightning. A terrifying aura of destruction emanated from the old man. Even Yi Xiao, the city lord of Heaven Man City, and Chu Tianquan, the Chu Clan's clan lord, were shocked. The Stone Clan's ancestor was not afraid of any power. Old man, sure, I haven't seen you for many years, but you're still as hot-tempered as ever. The demonic voice was heard. Then, a figure walked out of the new moon tower. Who killed my successor? Shirley stared at the tower master and asked in a low voice. We are all cultivators. That little guy from your family was not skilled enough and was killed. This seems to be a very common thing. The new moon house master said with a faint smile. What did you say? Preposterous! Ancestor Rock Thunder was enraged when he heard this. His right hand slammed down on the new moon house. He would let the new moon house be buried with his descendant. This ancestor of the Stone Clan had a fiery temper and would attack at the slightest disagreement. Humph! The new moon house master sneered and waved her hands. A layer of divine light rushed out from her hands and blocked Ancestor Stone Thunder's palm. Boom! Like the sound of a heavenly drum, Ancestor Stone Thunder's palm hit the layer of divine light and produced such a sound. The terrifying sound waves spread in all directions, causing countless cracks to appear on the surrounding buildings. Some of the nearby cultivators simply fell from the sky or from the rooftops. Some were knocked unconscious while many of their ears bled due to the sound waves. Everyone was indescribably shocked and hurriedly retreated into the distance. Only the powerful Night Owl City Master, Chu Tianquan, and the others dared to watch from nearby. The layer of divine light from the new moon house master dissipated in the void, and Ancestor Stone Thunder's palm did not land on the new moon house in the end. The new moon house master's body trembled, and she involuntarily retreated hundreds of feet, directly flying out of the new moon house. A mantis trying to stop a chariot. You overestimate yourself! Shirley sneered and attacked again. This time, he clenched his right hand into a fist and endless lightning began to gather from all directions. Boom! Ancestor Stone Thunder's punch was like a clap of thunder. It was extremely shocking. Boundless lightning was instantly released from his fist. Every single bolt of lightning tore through the void, displaying the terrifying combat power of a quasi-supreme being. How dare you! The new moon house master was finally moved when she saw this. Humph, why wouldn't I dare? Even if Dijiotian was here, I would still kill that guy. Ancestor Stone Thunder's fist was still sinking as he spoke. It was as if the whole world and the void had been pressed down by his fist. Before it hit the new moon house, the whole place was shaking. Countless runes emerged on the new moon house. This was a sign that the new moon house's defensive formation had been activated. However, under Ancestor Stone Thunder's thunderous attack, the new moon house's defensive formation only lasted for a few breaths before it directly collapsed. Gotcha! Cracks appeared on the entire new moon house. It was about to collapse in front of everyone. Haha, this guy dared to come to Heavenly Human City and behave atrociously. Now he knows how powerful he is. TCH, this is Ancestor Stone Thunder, not the Celestial Clan's ancestor. What's so powerful about it? Someone said mercilessly. That person was speechless. No matter who attacked, the guy in the house is dead for sure. An expert of the older generation sighed. At this time, the new moon house had already been emptied. Only Gu Fei was left in the number 1 private room, drinking and admiring the moon, as if everything outside had nothing to do with him. It's a pity that this guy didn't die by my hands. Chu Tianquan gritted his teeth and stared at the figure in the house. Yi Xiao, the city lord of Heavenly Human City, did not say anything, but his expression was extremely grave. There are always people who come to die. Sigh. Gu Fei had just finished the wine in his cup and stood up. He looked up at Ancestor Stone Thunder in the sky and threw a punch unhurriedly. His punch was fundamentally different from Patriarch Stone Thunder's domineering punch. His punch was light and seemed weak and powerless. However, as soon as Gu Fei threw his punch, the new moon house, which was on the verge of collapse, immediately stopped shaking. Countless lightning bolts bombarding from the sky suddenly collapsed in the void. The two forces collided. Ancestor Stone Thunder's body swayed and he took half a step back. Meanwhile, Gu Fei was as still as a mountain, but his feet left 2 footprints on the floor. Everyone could not believe it. How was this possible? This guy actually blocked Ancestor Stone Thunder's punch? This was simply heaven-defying. One had to know that Ancestor Stone Thunder was a quasi-supreme. Could it be that this black-robed youth was also a quasi-supreme? Thinking of this, Yi Zhao's forehead began to sweat. Chu Tianquan clenched his fists tightly. The other party was a quasi-supreme? This was going to be troublesome. Because of the existence of the power of heaven's punishment in the human world, extreme supremes were extinct, and quasi-supremes were invincible. The consequences of offending a quasi-supreme were extremely serious. Chapter 42-32. Gu Fei's punch had stunned everyone present. Good job, little brother! The master of the new moon house said loudly. Her voice carried a demonic quality and a strange power that could steal one's soul. Although the master of the new moon house covered her face, she had a graceful figure. At first glance, one could tell that this kind of woman was peerless and rare in the world. Gu Fei found it funny and helpless to be called little brother by the master of the new moon house. He had cultivated for countless years and was once an invincible expert in the eternal realm. He had probably made his debut earlier than the master of the new moon house. It's him. He killed Yin Wind and Ling Dian, the 2 half-ancestors. Red-Eyebrowed Saint Venerable was also killed by him. At this time, an expert of the celestial humans who had just arrived suddenly stared at Gu Fei in shock. What? When everyone heard this, their shock was no small matter. This guy killed Red-Eyebrowed Saint Venerable and Yin Wind and Ling Dian? Hearing this, Yi Xiao, the city lord of the celestial human city, immediately became extremely unsightly. Red-Eyebrowed Saint Venerable was his junior, and Yin Wind and Ling Dian, the 2 half-ancestors, were the most promising existences in the celestial humans clan to become quasi-supremes. Yi Xiao hurriedly sent a message to the ancestors' land. At this time, Ancestor Stone Thunder became ruthless. Endless lightning rushed out of his body, connecting heaven and earth, attracting even stronger lightning power. At this time, Stone Thunder seemed to have transformed into the peerless thunder god of ancient times, and a terrible aura of destruction surged out of his body. All the cultivators in the city were extremely frightened. Gu Fei took a step forward and instantly appeared in front of Stone Thunder. All-directional thunder destruction! Ancestor Stone Thunder roared and used his strongest move. The endless power of heavenly thunder directly bombarded Gu Fei. Every lightning bolt carried a terrible power of destruction. The surrounding void directly collapsed. The power of destruction instantly swallowed Gu Fei. Everyone watched this scene nervously. Boom! In the next moment, Gu Fei directly broke through the layers of lightning and attacked Ancestor Stone Thunder with incomparable power. What? Ancestor Stone Thunder's face turned pale with fright. He frantically circulated the Xian art in his body. The power of the lightning Tao was unprecedentedly strong. A faint figure appeared on his body. It was the incarnation of the ancient Thunder Ancestor. Go to hell! Stone Thunder Ancestor roared. 9 balls of lightning shot out of his body, each of them bursting with a shocking power of the Way of Thunder. 9 thunderballs shot towards Gu Fei. Heaven Transforming Palm! Gu Fei directly displayed the Heaven Transformation hand. His right hand pressed forward, and the power of Heaven Transformation surged out. The 9 balls of lightning were instantly transformed into the most primitive essence of lightning. In the next moment, a powerful devouring power erupted from Gu Fei's body, completely devouring the lightning essence energy that had been dispersed by the Heavenly Transformation hand. This, Ancestor Rock Lightning's world was dumbfounded. Yi Xiao, Chu Tianquang, and the others who were watching from the side were dumbfounded. Even the Moonlight House Master was dumbfounded. There was no doubt that Ancestor Stone Thunder was powerful. Even the Moonlight House Master was forced to retreat by him. Even among the Quasi-Supremes, Ancestor Stone Thunder was probably the king of the Quasi-Supremes. In the next moment, Ancestor Stone Thunder's entire body was directly turned into a cloud of blood mist. Even his spirit was turned into the most primitive essence energy. This was the power and terror of the Heaven Transforming Hand. After using the Heaven Transforming Hand, Gu Fei was even more exhausted. This battle technique consumed too much essence energy. Even though his cultivation had recovered to the Holy Venerate realm, he still couldn't keep it up. Under the envelopment of the power of Heaven Transformation, everything was melted. All the power of the Lightning Tao was transformed into the most primitive essence energy of the Lightning Tao, which was devoured by Gu Fei. Only after devouring Ancestor Stone Thunder's power did Gu Fei replenish his exhausted essence energy. With just one move, he killed Ancestor Stone Thunder. This kind of battle strength was enough to shock the world. Yi Xiao and Chu Tianquang were scared out of their wits by this scene. This guy was really a Quasi-Supremes who pretended to be a pig to eat a tiger. In truth, they didn't know that Gu Fei wasn't even a Quasi-Supremes or a half-martial ancestor, but he had killed the Quasi-Supremes like Stone Thunder with a single palm strike. At this moment, the surroundings were completely silent. Everyone was looking at the black-robed youth. They were all extremely curious about who this person was, and why he had appeared in Heaven Human City. All unrelated people, scram. Today, I'm going to destroy the Celestial Clan. Gu Fei's voice wasn't loud, but it spread throughout the entire Heaven Human City. All the cultivators who heard it were indescribably shocked. What kind of joke is this? Someone actually wants to destroy the Celestial Clan? Who's talking nonsense? The entire city was shocked. Countless cultivators were discussing it. You want to destroy the Celestial Clan? Yi Zhao's expression finally changed. Let the slaughter begin! Gu Fei glanced at Yi Xiao indifferently. In the next moment, his figure disappeared from where he stood, without a trace. Yi Xiao raised his head, but a huge foot had already stomped down. Bang! Yi Zhao's head exploded from the stomp. Then, his body and legs were directly stomped into a bloody mist by Gu Fei's foot. Both his body and soul were directly destroyed. Everyone was immediately turned into stone statues. All of them were dumbfounded and dumbfounded. All of this was too unreal. The mighty city lord of heaven human city, Yi Xiao, was actually stomped to death by someone, ending up with both his body and soul destroyed. Do you still want to avenge your son? Gu Fei's figure appeared in the void. He stood quietly with his hands behind his back, looking at Chu Tianquang expressionlessly. No, no. My son has offended the Overlord. Please forgive him, Overlord. Chu Tianquang hurriedly said. Even a holy venerate could not be insulted, let alone a quasi-supremacy who was even stronger than a holy venerate. Young Master Chu had offended a quasi-supremacy, so he deserved to be killed. Little fellow, don't be so arrogant. At that moment, an angry roar came from the sky. Then, a door of light appeared in the sky, and powerful figures walked out of it. A total of 9 experts had arrived at the same time. Among these 9 experts, the weakest was a holy venerate, while the strongest was a quasi-supremacy patriarch. The powerful reinforcements of the celestial clan had arrived. Yi Zhao's previous message had alarmed the patriarch in the celestial clan's ancestral land. This patriarch had personally led the team here. One had to know that Gu Fei's battle record was too shocking. Red-eyebrows Saint Venerate, Yin Feng, and Ling Dian were both extremely powerful existences. However, they had all died at the hands of the same person. You're Gu Fei? The leading quasi-supremacy stared at Gu Fei and said coldly. Chapter 42-33. Patriarch Li Yuan of the Celestial Humans was the senior of Yi Feng and Ling Dian, the 2 half-step ancestors. He had always thought highly of Yi Feng and Ling Dian, believing that they could become quasi-supremes. Unfortunately, the 2 of them were killed, and the murderer even came to Celestial City. Patriarch Li Yuan and the others were shocked. After receiving Yi Zhao's message, he immediately left the ancestral land of the Celestial Humans with his 8 subordinates. In Celestial City, Gu Fei did not want to talk nonsense with Patriarch Li Yuan at all. He immediately threw a punch at Patriarch Li Yuan. Rumble! A terrifying and monstrous power erupted from Gu Fei's fist, causing the entire world to tremble. Even Ancestor Li Yuan's expression changed when he saw that punch. Seal! Patriarch Li Yuan roared and formed the seal with both hands. Buzz! The space in front of Patriarch Li Yuan trembled as if it was about to freeze. Boom! Gu Fei's fist force directly bombarded Patriarch Li Yuan's sealing power. In the next moment, the void in front of Patriarch Li Yuan exploded. What? Patriarch Li Yuan was shocked to see that. He quickly waved his hand and took the 8 experts behind him away. In the next moment, Patriarch Li Yuan was sent flying by the mighty fist force. Blood seeped out of the corner of his mouth. Let the killing begin! Gu Fei's voice was extremely cold and emotionless. He threw a second punch. At that moment, Patriarch Li Yuan was extremely shocked. He was actually sent flying by a punch from this little guy. It was hard to imagine. How was this possible? He was a quasi-supremes, but he was no match for a holy venerate? With Patriarch Li Yuan's quasi-supremes cultivation, he could naturally sense Gu Fei's cultivation. Moreover, Gu Fei did not deliberately hide his cultivation. Gu Fei struck out with the extremity-breaking fist. This was an invincible battle skill that he had created when he became a paragon. With a single punch, his strength instantly broke through the limit. If Patriarch Li Yuan had not sealed the void in front of him in advance to block Gu Fei's attack, Gu Fei's punch would have blown him up. Patriarch Li Yuan was unable to withstand Gu Fei's second punch. Bam! With a dull thud, Patriarch Li Yuan exploded from Gu Fei's punch. Everyone was shocked to the extreme when they witnessed this scene. Even Ancestor Li Yuan isn't a match for this fellow. Doesn't that mean that this fellow is invincible in the mortal dimension? At this time, Yi Xiao, the city lord of Sky Man City, and Chu Tianquang, the head of the Chu family, looked at the scene in disbelief. They never expected Gu Fei to be so powerful. Patriarch Li Yuan was a quasi-supremes of the celestial humans. However, such a powerful existence was blown up by Gu Fei with just 2 punches. At this time, the mass of blood light suddenly converged, and a figure appeared. Violent power spread from the figure, shaking the world. You! Patriarch Li Yuan was so depressed that he almost vomited blood. He had never been in such a sorry state since he became a quasi-supremes. You can die now! Patriarch Li Yuan charged at Gu Fei as he spoke. He was like a fireball, and the scorching power of fire shook the heavens and the earth. The celestial humans had a talent that other races did not have. The celestial bloodline was extremely powerful. Patriarch Li Yuan cultivated the sacred body of fire. With a single thought, he could summon mighty divine fire, burning the void silently. It was absolutely terrifying. Heaven Transformation Palm! Gu Fei did not hesitate and used the Heaven Transformation Palm right away. He could feel the Yuan Qi in his body rapidly being consumed. Coupled with the 2 punches he had thrown out earlier, Gu Fei felt a sense of emptiness within him, as if he was about to collapse. He had to open up his inner world and draw in the essence of the world to replenish his Yuan Qi. Buzz! The space in front of Gu Fei trembled as the space in front of him was destroyed. The boundless fire Qi was also about to dissipate within the space, being turned into the most primal essence. Gu Fei did not waste it. While drawing on the power of the world in his inner world, he also devoured the essence around him. At that moment, Patriarch Li Yuan was pressed to the ground by the Heaven Transformation Palm. The power of fire on his body was constantly being absorbed. What? Patriarch Li Yuan's shock was not to be underestimated. He tried his best to use his power to break the seal of the Heaven Transformation Palm, but no matter how hard he tried, he could not shake the power of the seal. How is this possible? Yi Xiao and the others were completely stunned. Kill! At that moment Yi Xiao made his move. The City Lord of Heaven City activated the power of the protective formation of Heaven City. 9 beams of holy light came from all directions. Yi Xiao grabbed the 9 beams of holy light in his hand and turned them into a peerless heavenly sword. Whoosh! The 9 beams of holy light cut through the void and instantly landed on top of Gu Fei's head. The sword Qi was vast and mighty, as if it could destroy the world with a single strike. Yi Xiao had been preparing for this thunderous attack for a long time. He was waiting for the moment when Gu Fei let his guard down so that he could kill Gu Fei with a single strike. However, a faint layer of divine light appeared on Gu Fei's body. It was the light of eternity. Gu Fei had no intention of dodging at all. He allowed the peerless sword light to fall. The sword light dissipated as soon as it came into contact with the divine light. This? Yi Xiao was completely dumbfounded. That was the strongest attack he could use, but it could not even break through his opponent's defense? He did not know that while the light of eternity around Gu Fei was weak, it was a power even more powerful than the divine light of ultimate path. While the protective formation of Heaven City was powerful, it could not break through the light of eternity around Gu Fei's body. At that moment, the spectators were also dumbfounded. Humph! Gu Fei suddenly turned around and grabbed at Yi Xiao with his left hand. Yi Xiao felt his body tighten, and he flew toward Gu Fei involuntarily. Roar! Yi Xiao was scared out of his wits. He desperately tried to escape. However, it was all in vain. Gu Fei crushed Yi Xiao with one hand and pulled out his primordial spirit. Don't kill me! Yi Xiao's primordial spirit struggled in Gu Fei's hand. Die! Gu Fei did not show any mercy. He directly crushed Yi Xiao's primordial spirit. The City Lord of Heaven City had died just like that. At that moment, Chu Tianquang was scared out of his wits. He immediately fled into the distance. Gu Fei did not attack Chu Tianquang, which allowed him to escape. If Gu Fei had attacked, Chu Tianquang would not have been able to withstand a single blow. At that moment, Patriarch Li Yuan was in an extremely sorry state. His primordial spirit was constantly being refined. In just a few breaths' time, a small portion of his primordial spirit had been refined. It seemed that he would not be able to escape this time. Chapter 42-34. A shocking scene unfolded in the sky above Celestial City. A ball of divine light trapped a ball of divine fire. The divine fire was extremely dazzling, but the layer of divine light seemed very dim. However, it was this inconspicuous and dim divine light that trapped a divine fire that was like a sun. Patriarch Li Yuan! At this moment, countless disciples of the Celestial Clan and Celestial City were shocked to the extreme when they saw this scene. Because someone was refining their ancestor alive. The so-called major forces in Celestial City did not dare to step forward, because even the City Lord of Owl City had been killed by the person in the sky. That was the City Lord of Owl City, known as the #1 expert in Celestial City. He had presided over Celestial City for countless years. No one would have thought that he would die at the hands of a nobody. Boom! Bang! Trapped in the eternal light, Patriarch Li Yuan kept attacking the seal, but to no avail. No matter how powerful he was and how powerful he was, it was useless. Rays of fire kept rushing out of Patriarch Li Yuan's body and into the eternal light, becoming a part of Gu Fei's power. Patriarch Li Yuan's vitality was rapidly draining. It would not be long before his vitality was sucked dry and he would die. Damn it! Li Yuan was sweating profusely. He gritted his teeth and spat out a divine orb, which he threw at the eternal light. Boom! The eternal light shook with a loud noise. However, even though the eternal light was shaking violently, it still could not be broken. Gu Fei's eternal seal was very strong. Unless it was an extreme Dao sovereign, no one would be able to break the seal. Kill! Right at this moment, a spatial rift suddenly appeared in the sky above Heaven City. In the next moment, countless battle soldiers charged out from the rift. A terrifying murderous aura immediately appeared in the sky. Every single soldier was clad in thick armor, and wielded a battle spear in their hands. Divine light shone from their bodies, and runes could be faintly seen on their bodies. Countless soldiers gathered together, forming a battle formation, and the might they exuded was world-shaking. Those are the celestial soldiers of Celestial City. I have long since heard that Sky-Human City's Sky-Human battle formation can fight against a quasi-supreme. I want to see if it is really that powerful. The entire city was shaken, and countless experts of the older generation were incredibly excited. It had been a long time since the Deva army had been mobilized. I haven't seen this army for 500 years. An old man stood on the roof, staring at the dark clouds in the sky as he muttered to himself. Rumble! Wherever the battle matrix passed by, the space between heaven and earth was crushed. Amidst the endless divine light, a terrifying figure stood up. It was not a living being with flesh and blood, it was only a phantom. However, as soon as this phantom appeared, even the stars in the sky trembled. This is... Seeing this, Gu Fei couldn't help frowning. This kind of method seemed familiar. Using the bloodline to combine with the formation to draw a trace of the ancient ancestor's power. This was borrowing the power of the Celestial Clan's ancient ancestor to fight against Gu Fei. The Celestial Clan's ancient ancestor was naturally a peerless existence. A trace of his power was naturally enough to kill a quasi-supreme without a problem. Boom! The vague figure stepped out of the battle matrix and threw a punch at Gu Fei. When the phantom punched, the world seemed like it was going to collapse. Everyone in Celestial City looked at the scene in the sky in astonishment. So the legend is true! The Celestial Man formation can really draw the power of the Celestial Clan's ancient ancestor. The Celestial Clan is really heaven-defying! The experts of the major forces were a bit dumbfounded. One should know that this kind of method was really unimaginable. Most importantly, the Celestial Clan had done it. Boom! Gu Fei also threw a punch, but this time, he was forced back 10 steps. HM? An old man sitting cross-legged in the Celestial Man battle matrix suddenly opened his eyes. His gaze pierced through the void and landed directly on Gu Fei. Little guy, I didn't expect you to be so strong that you could withstand a blow from the ancient ancestor. The old man's voice directly rang in Gu Fei's mind. This is just the power of the bloodline. Don't try to act mysterious in front of me, Gu Fei said indifferently. You! The old man was extremely shocked. He never thought that the black-robed young man would be able to see through the celestial man battle matrix with a single glance. The Phantom's attack just now was enough to kill an ordinary quasi-supreme, but Gu Fei was only forced back 10 steps. 10 steps. At this time, Gu Fei's aura continued to rise. He was continuously refining the ancient ancestor's power, turning it into his own. His cultivation continued to rise. At this time, his cultivation had already broken through to the mid-level of the Holy Venerate, and was heading towards the great success Holy Venerate. If he were to successfully squeeze the ancient ancestor dry, his cultivation would probably return to the quasi-supreme level. Even if he couldn't return to the quasi-supreme level, he would at least be able to return to the peak of the Holy Venerate. Take a punch from me too! Gu Fei clenched his right hand and threw a punch at the celestial man battle matrix. His punch shook the entire world. In an instant, the power of the punch had already surpassed the Holy Venerate realm. When Gu Fei's punch was halfway through, the power of the punch had already surpassed the Holy Venerate realm, and reached the quasi-supreme level. How is this possible? The old man in the celestial man battle matrix was truly shocked when he sensed the power that erupted from Gu Fei's body. The moment Gu Fei's punch was completely unleashed, the power of Gu Fei's punch was completely unleashed. This was the extreme breaking fist that Gu Fei had cultivated, a punch that broke through one's limits. A punch that broke through the limits and killed a quasi-supreme. Gu Fei's punch could definitely kill a quasi-supreme. Even if one had unparalleled magical powers and unparalleled techniques, it would still be difficult to block such a powerful force. A punch that broke through all magical powers. Without any suspense, Gu Fei's punch directly broke through the power of the celestial man battle matrix. In the next moment, the phantom formed by the celestial man battle matrix dissipated in the void. The terrifying pressure also disappeared. Countless cultivators in Celestial City breathed a sigh of relief. A cloud of blood suddenly burst out from the celestial man battle matrix. The entire battle matrix had a huge hole created by Gu Fei's punch, and countless soldiers were instantly killed. With just a punch, Gu Fei had destroyed the celestial man battle matrix that the celestial clan was so proud of. This punch was too shocking. All the cultivators in the city were dumbfounded, as if they were in a dream. Chapter 42-35. Patriarch Li Yuan of the Celestial Humans was truly unlucky to have encountered a freak like Gu Fei. Gu Fei suppressed him with the power of eternity, and refined his cultivation. Patriarch Li Yuan had become extremely old by then. More than 80% of his cultivation had been refined, which directly shook his foundation. Meanwhile, Gu Fei's cultivation had skyrocketed. He had broken through to the greater success of the Holy Sovereign Realm, and was on his way to the peak of the Holy Sovereign Realm. Damn it! Patriarch Li Yuan roared furiously at the sky. In the next moment, he crushed a talisman. The moment he crushed the talisman, a figure that seemed to have been sitting there since the beginning of time suddenly opened his eyes in the ancestral ground of the celestial humans. Li Yuan! The figure disappeared on the spot without a trace. Gu Fei displayed his invincible battle prowess in the sky above Celestial City. Countless experts in Celestial City bowed their heads. Even the celestial humans' battle formation that the celestial humans were so proud of was almost shattered by a single punch. The old man in the eye of the celestial humans' battle formation also suffered a great impact. A trace of blood seeped out of the corner of his mouth, and his entire body became exhausted. Gu Fei had almost destroyed the celestial humans' battle formation with a single punch. Although the formation was still operating, its power was naturally greatly reduced. The celestial humans' battle formation could no longer attract the power of the ancient ancestors. Just when Patriarch Li Yuan was in despair, the void above Celestial City suddenly shattered. A figure stepped out of the shattered void. Save me, Patriarch! Li Yuan was extremely excited when he saw that person. Everyone was shocked to hear that. Li Yuan's seniority in the celestial humans was already very high, yet he still called that person Patriarch? Everyone was shocked at that thought. The person glanced at Patriarch Li Yuan, who was trapped in the eternal light, and did not say anything. His eyes then fell on Gu Fei. "Fellow cultivator, how about showing mercy?" the person said indifferently. "Ha ha, showing mercy?" Gu Fei laughed. "What are you laughing at?" The man was still expressionless. "You asked me to be merciful, but have you ever been merciful to my daughter?" Gu Fei sneered. "Your daughter? Is there some kind of misunderstanding?" Hearing this, the man was startled. As expected, it seemed like his clansmen had offended this person, causing him to kill his way to their doorstep. Gu Fei snorted coldly. With a wave of his right hand, a spatial crack immediately appeared in the void. In the next moment, a figure walked out of the spatial crack. "It's you?" The moment that person walked out, Patriarch Li Yuan, who was trapped in the eternal light, was shocked. This person was none other than Gu Fei's daughter, Gu Ling. However, when they encountered Gu Ling, they were extremely courteous. Patriarch Li Yuan had also heard that Gu Ling's father was an incredible cultivator, but he didn't pay much attention to it. He thought that no matter how powerful Gu Ling's father was, he was only one person. How could he possibly fight against the entire celestial human tribe? "My name is Gu Fei." Gu Fei placed his hands behind his back and said, "Gu Fei? Never heard of him." Patriarch Tianluo shook his head. "What? He's the legendary #1 savage of the soaring dragon ancestral planet? Legend has it that he once trampled on the demon forefather and punched the ruler of a forbidden land. Didn't he disappear? Why is he here in the primordial ancestral planet?" There were many experts from the soaring dragon ancestral star in Davis City, and they were all shocked. The name Gu Fei had once shaken the entire soaring dragon ancestral star. Back in the day, Gu Fei had suppressed countless experts in the soaring dragon ancestral star and swept across the entire planet, almost invincible. The news of Gu Fei's return had yet to reach the primordial ancestral planet, but the soaring dragon ancestral planet was already in an uproar. Many old monsters and antiques that had not shown themselves for a long time had come out. Everyone and every force was extremely nervous. But when they learned that Gu Fei had left the soaring dragon ancestral planet, everyone and every force breathed a sigh of relief. The #1 savage of the soaring dragon ancestral planet? You're tuning into the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.